What is up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. 2020 is over, but the fuckery continues. So we will see what 2021 has to bring. If 2021 has taught us anything, it is that to expect the unexpected and to appreciate what you have and appreciate and always be in position if you ever need to be. Now, right now, I'm actually sitting here. I just chilling, watching the stuff. I'm not going out because guess what? I'm not trying to catch COVID. Y'all can act like that shit is real and not real, but I was basically listening to Kevin Samuel shit. So I'm gonna be in your ear for any of you all that are out here, doing the I won't say house party thing, but doing the gathering. You know what you all do. Interesting enough, and I'm not trying to brag. I actually got my stimulus actually Tuesday. That shit hit my phone and I was like, oh, that's nice. So it's been a lot of things to break my way business wise, actually, to kind of set up a good week, which definitely set up to go into the year fully. So two things I'm gonna talk about, and yeah, I will be bringing people on, and cause I'm still in the process of upgrading my computer. One of my older ones, bring people on, and gonna have a conversation. And yeah, but anyway, yeah, 2020, one thing about 2020, and one thing I want to do is a review stream, and that's not going to be here, but it'll probably be in a couple of days or so, because I just got to jump in the office Friday, and then I got 3 days, so I'm good. So I would definitely be good to get this smoke. And it's just a couple of streams I got in mind. A lot of the changes that I said to implement. Don't be surprised if all the videos in this channel all of a sudden get locked. So if you're gonna see some old shit, because what I'll probably do is lock them. And then once I lock them, that's when you really know this channel is about to be altered. And it's not gonna be, it's really, think of it as it's gonna be additions. It's not gonna be I'm still gonna do the vlog thing. I may start doing more of my vlog. I'm gonna start transitioning, doing more of my vlogs on Instagram as I start to build that. Right now, I got like multiple Instagrams going on, so I need to kind of get that shit under control. Yeah. So yep, absolutely. And I'm in the Eastern. What's up, Jim Rat? So anyway, man, I gotta tell you. So Kevin Samuels did a video. He's still, his stream is kind of winding down, but goddamn, like, a lot of the people that hate on him, I'm talking about in the Manosphere, this is a really good stream as to why a lot of people defend what he's doing for the betterment of the overall message. And shout out to Grinch, who Grinch was talking about, like, the betterment of the overall message. And I think he was doing some video about BGS versus Sheep Stay Sleep, which y'all remember the stream I did was with him and what he was saying. And when I was getting my tire changed. But anyway, shout out to Grinch. But my point, because he definitely between him and Smooth, those two keep it real. I used to think those two are the same person for the longest time. Don't judge me. And I used to always really be quiet. That's why I used to always like call one of them the other. Yeah. But anyway, Kevin, first of all, his show was about Are Modern Women Angry? But the reality is the show could have been called SY. Look, we all know Kevin is for marriage. And there's nothing, I'm not like, nothing wrong with that. He definitely, because fighting for that on that front does have its value. But make sure y'all hit me with the Cash App if you all ever feel so kind. I know I should have lied saying I get my stimulus, but support the movement. But nah, Grizzly, I can definitely send you the link. Like, I can send you a link via Cash App, via whatever. Yeah, man, let's get you on here right now. Let's get you on here right now. That's the thing I love about StreamYard. StreamYard make white boys a StreamYard. They make it easy to take people down and people start wilding the fuck out. So if I get that dude that did that BGS shit, I'll be fine. But anyway, shout out to Bridget. Bridget wishing me a happy New Year's. But anyway, Kevin's show could have been called, I don't want to call it SYSB in the infomercial. I really don't want to say that. But if you're somebody that leans that way, it could have been. based on the calls, but it was damn sure the Gynocracy show. I mean, you got it from so many different, like basically all the vectors and angles it comes in. You got it. The sassy attitude, the delusional the enabler, the fragile. It was good. It was good, and he was handling them calls for real, and that shit, and it was good. It was about 12,000 people that came through. And I just wanted to comment on a couple of things on that. First things first is this idea of bashing, because that was a recurring thing that a lot of the callers said. They said they were kind of trying to preempt the bashing shit. Grizzly, you wanna be seen on screen? I'm just letting you know. Give you a chance to click that thing if you want to. They were like preempting the bash. Oh my god! Like, one woman even said, like, I don't want to be bashed. I want this to be therapeutic. And I'm like, and then the first thing Kevin said was, "Am I a therapist?" Well, am I a therapist? And when you have that pause, the women know the answers to the questions, and this is where the games start being played. You know the answers to the question, yet you still choose to want to give an answer, and this is what I'm talking about when I say lack of candor. All right, so what's up, man?
Not much, brother. Just here eating a salad, chilling. I just looked a little while ago.
Yeah, man. I know. I was just asking you to be on camera and stuff, just making sure. I ain't trying to get sued.
You know,
I just got my stimulus money, man.
I know. I have to do some nigga shit. Go buy PS5.
Oh yeah, like I be the main one doing that shit. Honestly, I don't give a fuck about upgrading my shit. Not right now. I'll wait till middle of the year. And honestly, I've had an Xbox for so long. But yeah, that's a joke. But I'm kind of, that's a joke. But you know how people, obviously, if you got the money, man, who the fuck am I to tell you what to do?
Oh,
but
yeah.
But if you broke, you need to get some shit done. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that money's already been invested.
Yeah.
Get my house outside of my house washed and put 300 in the market.
Oh yeah, my shit's still in bank account. Like where really at this point, my main focus is kind of hitting the rubber and the pavement, investing via sales and stuff like that. So I already got that stuff. If anything, it's just sitting in there. It just came and went. I was like, oh, because it was weird because you got this bullshit about the $2,000 going in, and it's like Tuesday. That shit just hit me in the middle of the night. I was like, oh, this is good. I want to first thing is Alan because both of my first name, my name start with A, so I was like, baby, that's why I was. But did you get a chance to see any of Kevin Samuel's show? Or were you doing something else? I know you're in Florida, so I know y'all.
No, I'm actually in my home in Georgia right now.
Okay.
I've been up here for a while, so.
So are you in South Georgia or?
Yeah, Southeast Georgia.
Oh God, so you where the white folks are really crazy at? It's that Southeast Georgia, Northern Florida.
Yeah, they say that, but I mean, if you call crazy my neighbor bringing me a pecan pie in the first week I was here, I'll deal with that.
Well, that's how Get Out starts. they know how, like, I remember I moved. They start letting you know they see you. They did. I'm playing. I mean, not playing, but
right.
So it can be that they gave you a pecan pie being neighborly. I mean, it's just one of you.
I'm not gonna lie. I did thought it was poison for a second. Like I was really kind of suspect of it. And then I tasted that motherfucker and I ate the shit out of it.
Well, poison is usually good. The point is to eat it, and it usually if it tastes too good, it kind of covers something up. Here's the thing: if it's just one of you, it's when it becomes two or three is when they start having a secret homeowners association meeting, saying, "All right, man." They let the first one know, like, okay, you got the token spot. It looks like this place was a piece of shit, and you cleaning it up. So okay.
You know what's funny though? I was talking to. I'm gonna turn off my camera here in a second because I am like still kind of eating. But I was talking to my new neighbor, and she was talking to the old neighbors, and it sounds like the old neighbor, like the people that had the house. When she was talking, she was like, "Yeah, he's real quiet. He doesn't really do much." So it's like, Oh, y'all been watching. Like,
Yeah.
all right.
That's how they like it. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they may not be crazy, but make no mistake, they assessing it. I mean, obviously you
Yep.
bought that and you had to fix it up. So obviously
Yep.
they're like, well, how much can you fuck it up? You know,
Right.
So if anything, and here's the thing, yeah. It race is an issue, a factor. I'm not gonna say in your situation, but if you take race out of it, it's also they know white people think home ownership is the thing that happens with them more than us. So a lot of times, well, it depends. If you're in the South, it's different. You get what I'm saying? The point is they pay attention to like prices because if you're fixing the house, then it's like okay, this helps the neighborhood. If you're so it's funny, but it's just something that you don't want
Well,
to be. People don't want to be goofy about. But you in Florida, you ain't saying that you already don't know or you
well,
work
yeah, it's
for.
kind of one of those things. I think what you're saying is like, they see that, hey, listen, oh, he's a safe one type shit. Is kind of what it becomes.
Yeah. And maybe that's not in their conscience. Maybe it is ain't a conspiracy. But I've lived in enough.
They haven't had to call the cops yet, so he's okay until we have to.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just one person. They tend to not activate until it becomes like a more than two, three. So there's like a number to which they start to act unless it's like already a mixed neighborhood. And I know that because I know one of the guys that lives further up, like maybe like 6 miles, 7 miles up the street. So when you leave like North Raleigh, it just becomes the boonies. But it's the boonies is still connected to like the city, right? Um,
That's kind of mine.
yeah. So what happens is, there's black people and black people live all everywhere in North Carolina, but like in this area, is a one dude, one neighborhood is like two, and this one dude is a mechanic. He does mechanic work inside this thing, and he gives really good deals. He can actually do body work. He's been certified, all of that. Point is, he fixes their cars too, so they don't pull the homeowners BS on him. And he's an old school dude. He reminds me a lot of Nick Taylor. If you know who that is, very kind of similar disposition. And so it is. I'm just joking. But anyway, back to this Kevin Samuels thing. Did you see Kevin Samuels stream?
Yes, I did, and I saw the towards the end of it, especially with the. It was a lot of course, emotion, as we all know. That's kind of the lens that women talk through, but it was so much backstory. And then the one woman where she was like, I had problems with my father, and then he started asking her, like, "Are you a high school graduate, college graduate?"
Yeah, and that was a recent one. Yeah, that was the one where he started. Yeah, he started getting annoyed because I mean, I guess that's when
Mhm.
that father kicked in, and basically he was asking that question for the audience. And press one if you saw that stream. Press one if you saw any part of that stream. Press one in the chat. Um,
And when you
he
say
got
recent, that's the one that just
Yeah,
finished.
literally just finished.
Yeah. Okay.
And the reason and he asked that question because basically he was trying to see okay how far did her father got her through because she was in a two-parent household, did
Mm-hmm.
she graduate high school, graduate college,
Parents still married.
still married, yeah, parents still married. And this is what remember what I told you on my early said on my earlier stream for the, audience. I told you that shit don't matter. Being with a black woman at the end of the day don't matter. Being married still don't fucking matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. They still gonna come back to the same bullshit. And
Well,
that was
yeah.
a perfect example of that shit.
What Kevin said was like, "How dare you? This like it's like a white man can go to the plant and just work
Yep.
the day, and then but the black man has to build the plant and work there."
Obviously, who the fuck am I to side see quarterback anybody that's got like they can average like 3,000, let alone 10 or 12,000. But what I will say is, as the question, I would have liked the like when he was at the line of questioning, but obviously you're in the moment, right? Uh, did he pay for it? Like, how much did he pay any kind of money into it?
Well, that's kind of like a fucking obvious. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
it is. It
and
is.
then like even so, you know what? One thing where I could understand, in terms of her feelings, where she said, "Hey, listen, I was mad at my dad for a long time because it's like I guess the one of the sons was getting more attention, which happened to me. But later on in life, what I learned is I've always been a person that's been quote unquote independent, wanting to do it myself, blah blah blah. So my mother, she wouldn't pay much attention to me, and I'd feel a certain way about it. But she said something that always stuck with me when I was in college. She was like, "Oh, it's Michael. I don't have to worry about him." And you could take that either way, but essentially what it is you don't have to worry about Michael because Michael already knows he's gonna Michael's gonna get his shit done and his shit's gonna be straight. And
Yeah.
the new brother that just came up.
Yeah, appreciate Julius Minor with the super chat. Yeah, what's up, Anthony?
Yeah, what's good? What's good?
Okay, now I got my finger on the trigger in case that nigga fuck you, Clint. He's gonna get a fuck and then be gone. You know, I ain't doing that today. Like that's fun sometimes, but sometimes like it's a time and a place. But going back to what Grizzly, what you were saying was, yeah, that's number one. Number two, I mean, you can understand the lack of daddy's girl love, but like a lot of that was more entitlement. It really was, and a lot of these women don't even know that they're entitled. It's not about me starting to like come at women, but that particular call was interesting because the women will look at that the naysayers, and all they will see is he got mad and oh my god, why did he do that? And all this stuff is like very disingenuous. This is why I keep presenting Love Dorsey to you all because I want y'all to see if a woman was hammering them like that, they wouldn't have that same kind of emotional reaction. They would. And in fact, I might play some of that shit a little bit today, but yeah, and I'm gonna tell you one thing, and because I saw a lot of it, I'm gonna tell you what it is. The myth of white womanhood is in play, which is something he didn't mention. But why would he? It's been mentioned before, and a lot of it is self-hatred. A lot of it is they hate themselves because they black, and they project that on the black men. All these little fucking issues are just things that they use as excuses to not come down back to that hard reality. But a lot of that beauty hierarchy shit as to how they view it, because women rate themselves in their own hierarchy a hell of a lot more than black men do, and you can see that in a lot of black men deal with. Versus like bottom shelf black men versus bottom shelf what white men or Hispanic men will deal with. And this is why you always see this like mentality of the queendom. Like even the one woman that wasn't in that situation, but she said she was not arguing, but she was saying about being a queen. Why women talk about being a queen and why that matters. And Kevin was trying to show them about it being rare, but they want to sit there and make it about oh well, you just do that. And she wasn't doing that necessarily herself, but she was enabling that, and she saw nothing wrong with it. And the problem is, here's the thing about Kevin, because I want to go back to the bashing thing. One dude said, I forget who said it. I'm gonna find the name because the dude that said this deserves to have his name called out. I think it was Alan. I think it was Alan because this is fucking spot on. Men don't correct what they don't give a fuck about.
Right.
And so I'll put it in something that like women can understand. If a man knows that you have behaviors that they can benefit from, but that are detrimental to you, they're going to align themselves with how to get what the fuck they want to get, but at the same time, not let you know about those behaviors because they know how to benefit from them. Dirty Dick Rodney's do this. A lot of players do this. Hell, Alpha Male Strategy said that, because part of it when he said a lot of women, it's not just necessarily just a lot of women. It's also about allowing a woman to believe in her lies first. And you just get within that frequency in order to sell you something, because you sell to people's emotions to not people's logic. So by definition,
the queen narrative is pedestalizing these women and is putting them up to a certain point where it's like, okay, well, because we put them on this pedestal, we can sell them these high-end things. Now you believe that you should have a Mercedes rather than a Honda, which is more affordable and it's going to last longer and it's going to be cheaper over time.
And I'm not about to shit on game. But if you notice, and O'Shea said this, this game amongst black men is not really about relationships. It's about getting pussy. It's really about that part. They're very rare, and I know some people try to say they speak on it. Like Steve the Dean will try to say he speaks on that with the man mindset. So I'm not gonna act like it ain't out there at all. But what I will say is, most of the game, especially amongst black people, is really about fucking. and that's it. The relationship part isn't there because at the end of the day, it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't matter to black men, but this is what a frequency is there. I got you, Anthony.
It hasn't been of high importance for a long time, and
Yeah,
it's actually what it is, and that's the problem, and that's kind of what we're dealing with in terms of like doing the to your point correction, and to what Alan had said, what is correction. Like we're trying to correct this thing because we see that there's the fragment, or the fragmentation of relationships. Like it's just broken.
yeah. And then if you look at qualifying, this is from a black man that's been married twice. What does being married twice mean? Some people would say, okay, well, it failed. Well, first of all, Kevin has stated that those women tried to come back to him. So meaning whatever issues that was happening, they got they shit straight and then came that. So that's one. But two, that means he tried it twice, meaning he believes in it. The second thing is he got kids. So it's qualified to speak on this. But my thing, look at all the anger and rage that comes from correcting. Black, and I was gonna title it this, but I didn't want to because it's a new year. Black women consider correction bashing, and you notice how you will never hear that shit from if that you noticed it. And I got you, Anthony. You're about to talk in a second. Bashing is only applied to black men. I have never heard white men. You even when white men do physical harm to black women, you never interpret. That's never interpreted as bashing. Like you only hear bashing reserved for when black men give correction, and the truth is that is a subconscious thing that is saying that black men should not correct women. Black men, and even if you want to make that argument, you can't argue that black men should protect women if black men can't correct women because there's no other race or ethnic group you can find that protects their women that doesn't correct them. In fact, I would argue that the dudes that do the most protecting are the dudes that do the most correcting. But Anthony, what do you think about all that? Did you see the show? What do you think about it? What do you think about the new year? It's also about the state of the manosphere, and we'll get to that. Just give your thoughts.
Yeah, I saw it all. I seen it. I really don't have nothing to say. I mean, the Western woman. I mean, in this day and age,
I just want to know,
bro.
What is your?
I don't know. I really don't know, bro. I really can't explain, bro. It's just I did watch the Kevin Samuels show and stuff like that, and
no, absolutely.
I don't know, man. It's just I don't know, bro. It's no saving these women, man.
You're doing everything but throwing your hands up.
Man, it's no saving these women, man. It's the modern women, bro. It's no saving these women, bro.
I mean, let me ask you this.
The black community is gone, bro.
Let me ask you this specific question. Let me get specific. Do you believe? Have you ever considered getting married?
Yeah.
Okay. So
growing up. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So imagine you were back there. Don't disregard how you are now, but imagine if you were back there in that mindset. If you've listened to Kevin Samuels for a while, how do you think that listening to the show might have influenced you when it comes to marriage? Hearing the call. Because that's good call. There's women that support them too. They make sure they call in, even though they say only disagreement, because and I will argue that's a response to a lot of the craziness because they want to know that their vote counts. So I'm not gonna disregard that. There's a lot of support. So I do want to put that out there, not act like that just doesn't exist. But I mean, I
think the majority of the men watch this channel more than women.
I think I don't know his numbers, so this is just me guessing. Let me be very clear about this, but I think it's like 70-30 at least. 70% of that show is watched by women. You just don't get those numbers with men. We just don't.
Right.
Like you can because you would see that like O'Shea was doing 1,000. Like Donovan Sharp, he caters mostly to white men. Doing like 1,000, 1,200. You can't get those numbers unless you're getting majority women because women are on social media more than men. And I would argue that you don't get those numbers unless you're dealing with black women in particular, i.e. Tasha K. Tasha K can do 20K, literally 20K viewership. and that's because who is going to deal with gossip more? So I would say that it's probably at least 70-30. I would argue 85%. So I would argue it's only 1,500 men watching out of 10,000. But that's a guess, and that's what that's based on. It's just a guess. I don't have his numbers. I don't know.
But it's more female channels that cater to women more than men channels. I feel like Kevin Samuels is the only channel that's blowing up. Other channels like O'Shea and Donovan Sharp,
mediocre tutorial reviews.
Yeah, mediocre tutorial reviews and other brothers is coming up in the Manosphere. I think it's still a lack of men that's actually speaking out.
Oh, absolutely.
That actually have channels because a lot of sisters have channels to where, like you said, the Tasha K's of the world, they have a big following and stuff like that. They don't mostly cater their audience. I mean, the audience to referring men,
Yeah, I got some cash apps. Shout out to Jim Rat. Coach Greg Adams caters mainly to white folks. Understand when I say cater, no, that's not true. That's not true. He caters to a general audience, and so his audience is men. Obviously, white men are a bigger demographic, so that's gonna naturally be men. So he doesn't kind of say, okay, these issues are black specific, and so there are black men that listen to him. So I want to be fair about that, and that's why he gets those numbers.
Do you watch Coach Greg Adams too?
No, I do not. It's not that I don't particularly like him, but Coach Greg Adams would be a redundancy to me. Coach Greg Adams, and I know Grizzly can talk about this. I mean, that's like
that's for the new folks.
It's this shit 101 or this shit presented in such a way that can kind of touch the mainstream. Yeah.
It's also PC and a little bit cleaner. It's not what I would per se listen to. Even MTR, mediocre tutorials and reviews.
Yeah.
It's like that's for younger. Like I would give his channel to my nephew who's like 19 going on.
Yeah. And dudes that are and dudes that are and here's the thing, O'Shea did a great video about this when he was talking about the difference between like an alpha male strategies and like a coach some kind of white dating coach. And I'm like just really popular. They're apparently like people really gravitate to. And it's because like white people, he said it, and it's true. Because white men are still more likely to want to get in relationships with their women. Like, even though you have all the MGTOW shit, all of them, Sandman, all of them, a lot of Canadian dudes, you got to remember white.
What ethnicity is Sandman? I never
Sandman's
seen
white. Sandman's white. Sandman's Canadian. A lot of your hardcore MGTOWs are actually Canadian. And then when you understand that like socialism is a lot more prevalent in Canada, they are a lot further ahead on the females on the bullshit than actually, like if you look at white society, they're way further ahead in Canada. Canada's probably where the women wild out the most from a white man's perspective than probably anywhere else in Europe, to be honest with you. That's let them tell it. And
Sandman's like a 2.0 MGTOW, if anything. Not that they really detract from what he says, but in terms of the delivery in the way in which he does it, it's a little bit of a 2.0 type of feel to it.
Happy New Year, IRE, and I got some super chats as well. Shout out to Artie Igmore for the super chat, and it's another dude. It's like I let myself update and it'll come through as well. I haven't watched enough of Coach Greg Adams. I know Jim Rat, what you said. I haven't listened to Coach. Greg Adams.
And there's also another brother I watched too, Dennis Sperling. I like his content.
Everybody should. Let me be very clear here. Look, no offense to Coach Greg Adams, but for what we're trying to do as black men, Dennis Sperling is everybody should be subscribed.
Everybody should be subscribed to Dennis Sperling.
His message needs to be out there just like Kevin's. I'm gonna tell you why. Because number one, for people that everybody's not gonna like Kevin and his disposition, even in a Manosphere, that's fine. That's why you have multiple people. But number two, Dennis has been through it. Been married, been divorced, got kids. You see him raising his sons. He is a millionaire, so he's not a 6-figure, he's a 7-figure earner. Has his own law practice, was college educated. Is supporter of SYSBM, so he understands why the brothers are doing that, even though he is engaged, which is fine. Also, He's got property in the DR, so he's living. He's living what people are talking about, and he's visible. He has a network of dudes that are, it's certain things that he's just going to be able to do that a lot of other YouTubers cannot do easier. So he brings a certain credibility that makes it harder for these females to, and he does engage with black women. He does talk to bring women up and stuff from time to time. But if anything, look at the last stream he did and saw how he checked. I did in my video, I did the playback where he checked that brother, and he didn't check him in a bad way, but he told him, he said, dude, you got that chip. You got that chip. And he basically brought it up, and he let him talk, but he didn't let him talk because the shit he was saying, he wasn't saying nothing. And when you call up to his stuff, you got to make sure you can't, like, that's why you notice I don't be having these soliloquies over there, because he's like he's like in court. You got to make sure you cut that shit down.
Yeah,
but we need more dudes like that, and so that helps our message. And that's another thing. He engages with us too. So versus Coach Greg Adams, this fight ain't his fight. He's dealing with a general thing. The fight of the gynocracy ain't his fight. His thing is, you need to be dealing with non-black women. The end. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's gonna be on. Like, what do you fighting for?
I think we need to more focus on the black community more than other races, because black communities, we really don't have anything in the black community.
Yeah, he's doing that because that's more profitable.
Relationships, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because other communities have things that we don't have. So
shout out to Tree Star Systems.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know your name. My bad. Okay, so Young Grizzly, yeah, because everybody was getting mad out putting their government name out by accident. So I said, all right, let me correct that quick, because I get it. No. I'm not gonna say subscribe to all of them. I'm not about to shit on Coach Greg Adams, but you got to remember, like, I'm an internet marketer as well. Coach Greg Adams does what he does. First of all, O'Shea, for some reason, doesn't like him. He says Coach Greg Adams bites on a lot of shit. I mean, I'm not going to say O'Shea making that up. He says he bites from him a lot. But I will say that, Coach Greg Adams has one thing I will say I don't like is Coach Greg Adams has a product. He has this like $300 course that he sells. And when you actually go into the course, like, I didn't buy it, but when you go into the course, you see the titles. You see the titles, see how long the minutes are. And you can go into his about section, click on the link. It's I forget the site he used to host it, but the point is, the course is literally the shit that he talks about, but paying for it. And it's like, okay, if you're gonna give real information and stuff like that, I mean, actually put something together, So a lot of what he does is from a business, marketing, media standpoint, which there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, I don't believe in motherfuckers just subscribing to everybody. You need to have a focused amount of people that you're dealing with. Because then shit gets convoluted. You just start getting deep down into this shit, and it just gets convoluted. So my thing is, I would definitely say, Kevin has it. I mean, not Kevin. I'm not telling you who to subscribe to. That's just my mindset with it. But Dennis is definitely something you want out there. Kevin don't need your help irregardless. O'Shea don't.
That should be the first person on your list. And then Kevin. I think Sperling.
Yes.
Kind of touch on a lot.
I agree. And he's also for black men speaking up. He's saying and speaking to people at his level. He's leading by example, because he's talking about people at his level that might have something to lose. Y'all need to make yourself felt. And as somebody that definitely, he has his own practice, but he's in the media. He's in local Houston media by Willie D and all of that. So you're supporting that voice. So that's important. So that's as far as that, Dennis Sperling, y'all know who he is. Shout out to him. But going back to the other thing I want to talk about with the Kevin video, because we're not going to go through call by call. I'm not going to do that. Was the dude that tried to sneak his way through. Did you all see that?
Oh, hell yeah. I seen that shit, bro. That shit was crazy.
Y'all know what I've been railing against. I've been railing against a lot of these niggas that got something to say, but because understand something. There's definitely people in the Manosphere he could talk to. Dennis is there. A lot of people if he wanna say. But he said, so basically, for y'all that didn't see it, his wife called in. Her name, I guess, is Sabrina. She calls in. She's on this kick that all of the women were on about bashing and all of that. And then Kevin was basically giving her that work. Kevin is basically Count Dooku we're gonna do a nerdy Star Wars reference because he don't just Anakin, he does it like like Count Dooku, man. I'm gonna do a picture comparison, like he don't get like too angry or anything to the point where it's like he's losing my, but he's like shit. Because that's anyway. Long story short, he was giving that Count Dooku work, that schooling work. Basically, I'm gonna take your arm off, but I'm doing it to help you get better. and I guess his husband. And here's the thing, her husband called in first and he wouldn't talk to her. So it's possible that he told her to call in, right? And then he tried to get the phone once she was starting to get that work. And then basically out of everything he could have said, he want to talk about black men ain't protecting black women. And then basically, that's a trigger statement.
Why should we?
It always gotta be the simps, man.
But you know what? We're not even gonna go there. That's because I know that's definitely an argument. But first of all, this idea that's not true. Let's be clear here. All black men protect their mothers for the most part. Even though she was a crack fiend mama, she's a black queen mama, and a lot of black men live by that shit. Let's keep that real. Number one, their sisters, unless your sister is always in some life-threatening, like Blackistan bullshit, for the most part, they're gonna get protected. And a lot of black men have gone on send-off missions, aka suicide missions, protecting females that are family members. This thing got money. This thing got paid. You talked about that, Breonna Taylor shit. But a lot of these dudes, like, let's keep, and those are the big $1 million settlements. We're not talking about like the small stuff. A lot of black on black crime is off of, I would argue as much as a third of black on black crime is off of black men protecting black women and going on send-off missions on other dudes. Like kamikaze attacks. They don't even know what the fuck's really going on. Between that and drugs, I would argue that's a big part of it. And and that's why it's kept. Go ahead.
You end up protecting black women, then you find out later on, even with the story of Breonna Taylor, that she was, not to be insensitive of the whole thing, but if you look at what happened, I think it was like 2016, a body was found in a car that was rented out in her name. And then it was being ridden in by this guy that was that they were actually looking for. And it's like, okay, you want me to protect you, but you don't even do the things to protect yourself. This happens in 2020 and you're still messing around with the guy. You're still doing things and you're still associating yourself with this man. I can't protect that. That's kind of like, it's like, you keep on touching that stove. I after a while,
for those that might get triggered, this is the lesson you need to pull from it. This is the type of shit I talk about my Telegram because I keep all the way 100 in there. So that's exclusive. They ain't even, people don't pay for that. I can, because there's only people I know I can trust. But what y'all got to understand is the thing that black men have to protect black women from is themselves. Themselves. I'll give you an example. Boyce Watkins let his wife go up there and look goofy as hell, like a deer in headlights on that video that was talking about Kevin shit. Even when them other black women actually agreed with a lot of what Kevin was saying. And she did not know what she was talking about. She was not really informed of what happened. All she saw was that video, not the full video. Now, that wasn't out at the time. But her thing, it's like you are in late 40s. But you're talking like all of this emotional black women are frail bullshit is something that only tends to happen when black men come in the picture. But she looked goofy as hell. Shout out to Buck Mania, Happy New Year, Ed and rest of the Manosphere, absolutely. And he let her look goofy, and he bears some responsibility because obviously that's his show, that's his panel, that's his show, that's his channel. And you notice how he didn't even really see that as an issue. He didn't really have a situational awareness to realize that was going on in real time. We're not going to talk about, her hair and all that. We're not going to talk about like this. That doesn't matter. But what she was saying, it was very clear. She was not aware other than seeing a video on what was going on. And these are academics. They're supposed to understand what context is. Then she's talking about from a perspective, not even her expertise as far as the field that she's in, whatever. My point is that's a form of protection and protecting you from yourself. And black men are incapable and unwilling to protect. Really, they're unwilling to protect black women from themselves. Because in order to do that, you have to be able to delineate between good black women, bad black women, because most black men are incapable of willing to correct black women because they've been taught that correcting black women is bashing.
Right. And when we do any type of correction whatsoever, then it's met with like one of the last callers on Kevin Samuel's stream tonight, where she was acting sassy. She was like, "Oh, we're trying to have a conversation. It's two-way."
Yeah, she didn't know how that. No, that's called being socially awkward. Go ahead.
And if that was my child, she would have got a backhand so quick it wouldn't even be fucking funny. Her head would spin, her neck would snap from the backhand.
Well, this is hold on, because now we talk about. Let me say this. I'm gonna say this just to say it in a different way.
As a parent,
if she was talking to another female, if she was talking to Big Mama like that, what would have happened? Exactly, and nobody would give a fuck about it. She would have got the little girl, and then the hand would have been up.
Yeah.
And we all know it. Nobody will deny it. Nobody will wild out, tall at abuse, because y'all see women get their ass whooped by other women all the time, and nobody really gives a shit. Shout out to CJ Banks for the sticker. I saw that, man. I appreciate that. And this ain't gonna be going on forever, because I do got to get up in the morning. But we're gonna do it for like another hour and a half. Absolutely. So yeah, but going back to this dude, the first thing he wanted to say, yeah, man, because you're black. And you could tell he really believes that. And these are the dudes are Miri Brown, because Amiri said on my Facebook talking about because like I said, I've not allowed this dude. He has constantly tried to be friends with me on Facebook, and I've always said, you fuck with Sinji, I can't fuck with you. And he stands on that shit, even though what she did to him, basically tossing his ass. And I said, all right, these niggas always telling me, oh, he's changed. Let me see. So we have a conversation. I'm posting statuses. And then he want to disagree with that. And I already had that conversation. Long story short, like I said, he said basically that black men exercise independence by fucking non-black women since after the 60s. That's his idea of what self-determinism is, or how black men are in the patriarchy. And I've heard that before from a lot of women. So it's interesting. My point is, these dudes will say this crazy shit that's not built or backed by nothing because they're feeling. And I'm glad. A part of me wanted Kevin to entertain that conversation, but he stood on his principles and said no, because if he wouldn't have stood on it, then other dudes would have believed they could do that. He stood on his principles. No, but I hope he does have a show. Boy, that would be a good show if he just have all these dudes calling in, because a lot of these women that are married, a lot of them, there's a couple of them that's gonna feel a certain type of fucking way, and they gonna want to tell Kevin some shit, and you gonna find out they sound sassy as hell.
Right. And I mean, I apologize for going off, but I hear these things. Oh man, I don't know what's going on with this. Oh, I hear a lot of these things that are I hear a lot of these things from like people, and it's like you didn't get any type of consequences when you were younger, because some of the things that I hear people say, like, or you just didn't care.
No, they didn't do it. I'm gonna tell you, they didn't get no consequences from males. The way that these black women acting, good and goddamn well, they don't act like that with other black women that are elders, because they know the consequences are there and immediate. They will get that little girl, like the bigger little girl. They could be 38 years old at the family reunion. Now, my mom don't deal with. She don't buy into that. You do that with her. She's my grandfather, God rest his soul, always said she's always been rebellious with that, and that includes with the women. But a lot, and I wouldn't say my family is really a matriarchy like that, because we just got too many dudes in my family will say fuck it. And just, I've seen too many. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I don't mean to tell the story, but my mom personally, my mom apparently she didn't want girls, but I'm not gonna get in my personal situation with her, because I'm not trying to put her shit out there. Let's just say I got nothing but brothers, and we already know what statistics on abortion is. Read with that what you will. And I'm the firstborn. Read with that with what you will. But
natural selection.
Yeah, but she was braiding my middle brother's hair, like putting a ponytail, and she wouldn't cut it, and all this bullshit, chemicals and bullshit she put in the hair. And then her cousin, my second cousin, who's like in the middle, so he's like her age, actually, a little bit, couple years older. This was years ago. He decided to say, man, fuck this shit, man. We don't raise no bitches here. And this is somebody that I didn't see often. Like, he's one, like, you leave the state and then you see him. So it's like that shit. And his, that side of the family, that's my grandfather, sister, like they had a lot of kids, all of that. And my grandfather did too. So anyway, he put my brother's hair in the sink, and my brother didn't give a fuck. He was fine. He thought it was cool. Shout out to Anthony. I appreciate you showing up. And he just took some scissors and cut that shit. No, the first thing he did, because he tried to do scissors, and the scissors just came out greasy and wouldn't work. He said, "What the fuck is in this head?" All of a sudden, he just washed it, and literally half the damn. And when I say half the damn shit was filled with gunk, I'm not talking about like most of it's water. I'm dead ass here. This was not a small sink.
Yeah, like
not a bathroom. This was a kitchen sink. This wasn't a kitchen sink. It was like a back room sink, like a garage sink.
Mop sink.
So yep. So them things are deep. So anyway, that shit gets pulled up, and then he does it. Just had let it dry. Took scissors, cut it, and grew his hair out ever since. And I promise you, he might have turned out a very different way than he turned out now had it not happened. My mom was mad, pissed off, and wild out for like a couple of days, but she got over that shit. And I tell you, my middle brother is the favorite. Like, she loves all of us, but he's the favorite. He's the favorite. Like, my youngest brother is because she identifies with him because he's young, so they have the same behaviors of being both the youngest in their family. And then my mom and him, and then my middle brother's actually the favorite. It's not, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. So that probably wouldn't be the case had that not happen. Appreciate Rich Goodison for the super chat, man. I appreciate it, man. So long story short, that's the type of dudes we got in our family. Well, we'll be like, all right, fuck this, I'm doing it anyway, and you just gonna be mad. So I'm not saying I got the most patriarchal family, but yeah. Long story short, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Well, I mean, even with my own father, I'm 35. Even the other day, I had to just tell I think it was like even today, she was like, my mom was like, "Yo, go to your bed." I was like, "Mommy, I'm 35. It's very disrespectful what you're doing, and you need to stop. I don't really care if it's a joke or not, but you need to stop." But even my dad, he would be like, respectfully, somewhat, like me and my mom bump heads, we'll curse each other out and shit like that. But it's all love at the end of the day. But even my dad, he would say my name like Michael. Like, just like with an accent, deep voice. And like in my 30s, I'll be like, "Hey, what's up?" But it
depends on how you were raised. Yeah.
Because even with my mom, I could talk to her a certain way, but her nickname is Rambo. And you could only go so far with a woman that's named Rambo. She's fucking crazy. So you know how to talk and you know where to stop. And a lot of these men and women just don't know where to stop because they were never stopped at all. They like a lot of these cats were raised like white kids because of children, like, children, family and services and stuff like that, because they would get called on because they're beaten or what have you. Some of these kids don't know when to stop. Like, sadly, a lot of these motherfuckers should have been beaten more.
Yeah, you're right. And another thing to keep in mind is most black people, because keep in mind, Caribbean household, although our Caribbean household, you come out of, but most, and with ADOS, it's in the opposite. They're going to naturally bark at their fathers no matter what they did. And this is the dudes too. Like they're going to naturally bark at their fathers and then heel to their mothers, and right. These are dynamics that black people just refuse to talk about. They're very much exist and very present. And so, like, this idea, and then again with him, I already know what time it was. That's that black male guilt. That's that chip that's installed in him. That dude that called in. Because black men don't protect black women. What are you talking about, black? Because black men are not responsible for protecting black women from their emotions. And I've actually outright said it. The real issue a lot of these black women have with black men is that they project, they're black, and they project that anger to their fathers. And the truth is, that's just something black men ain't never gonna fix. And some of these women just need to be fucking told that shit. You're black, deal with it. I'm sorry. Black men are never going to be able to fix that shit. I don't know we need to take over bullshit, because even if you go to Africa, they don't like the fact that they're black. So and they ain't got no white people around them like that. So this idea that you're here is just some bullshit. And a lot of them didn't even, he said Rambo, damn. A lot of people didn't even know why they're mad. They're just mad. Like a lot of them, and that's another thing I'm going to say. This will probably be the last thing, and then we'll move on and say in Manosphere a little bit, especially because you've been in the sphere for a while. Shout out to Smurgle, but I may got to start slapping name. No. Like, y'all talk about violence. Y'all get my shit. Remember, Karen's around here flagging. So y'all need to watch that shit. Yeah, I will say this though. You want to slap somebody, I'm gonna tell you, I don't personally recommend you saying this. So doing this. So if you do it at your own risk. I've already said that I don't recommend you doing this, but this is an interesting idea that if I was gonna be an evil scientist doing an experiment, if you ever get the feeling of doing anything like that when it comes to your mother, call her by her first name and see what she does. My mom's first name is Veronica. Just in an argument, be like call her by her first name. I honestly don't know what will happen, but I'm telling you, if you all do that, you all are doing that at your own risk. So if you wind up like one of these Instagram memes and you're dead, that is on you. But I'm telling you, I would be curious as a social experiment that if you all going at it with your mom or something like that, call her by her first name. See what the fuck she does. Now, be prepared of that relationship maybe being over, because I honestly don't know what will happen. But because let's be clear here, y'all not gonna slap nobody. But that's some shit you all could reasonably do.
Yeah, I mean, when I say something like slap, well, for the one caller, like, nah, that's like, if I was her father, I definitely would, like, as her father, not as like a man that doesn't know her that could go to jail for this shit. But as her father, I'd be like, yo, listen, you need a backhand for that shit because this is ridiculous. Like little girl, like calm down. But in terms of like slapping your mother, I that should be like a verbal slap. Like, listen, you need to
call her by her first name. I think that's a slap. In fact, I don't even know if their brain will be able to register that for a good like 10 seconds.
I would even do that. And me and my mother have gotten into like.
Well, I've heard Caribbean women got machetes somewhere, so that's different.
Yeah.
The worst thing black women are gonna do is kick you out the fucking house.
Yeah,
that's what they gonna do.
You wouldn't. I wouldn't even do that.
Remember everything I'm saying. I'm saying from an ADOS perspective. I cannot speak for any other diaspora, so just keep that in mind. Because I know I've heard Caribbean women got machetes and shit. Yeah. So yeah. I've heard that. I didn't say it was true. And then Floridians are crazy in general. So Lord, you got to add that factor into it. Floridians are crazy across the board, for what I've heard.
A lot of them island people, and then Hispanic people too. Like the Hispanic people don't deal with that. You know, like they're not gonna, like, maybe some of the newer ones do, but like when they get home, Papi, no.
Yeah. So another thing that I wanted to comment on real quick is everything was this should be another title, and I always be forgetting these titles, and I need to write them down as I say it. You're educated. You're the number one educated, but everything you feel. I feel. I'll say it in the chat. I feel. Goddamn. Did any of you all think? Did y'all feel? Did y'all get that degree by feeling? Like, I'm a PhD. I'm college educated, but I feel. I feel like he gives you some, and it was funny too because he'll give him some logic, and then, and keep in mind, black men give you logic is not a right, that's a privilege, because we've taken the time to actually explain something to you, which we don't have to do, and it's like, well, I understand, I get that, but I feel. So basically, fuck that logic. When it comes to how I feel. And a lot of the friction in the conversation was based on feelings. I feel. You're an adult. You had women, and here's the funny thing. It was a lot of mid-20s women that called in, but you also had quite a few women that called in that were in their early 40s. And it was the same shit. I feel. Y'all are technically should be in the two different generations. They should be like right up there, like Gen X, millennial, like at the top, millennial. And then you had 24-year-olds that should be like almost zillennial, like first wave zillennial age. But they both, I feel. Yeah, I understand, but I feel. And I'm like, that's not some etch a sketch. I get your logic. Let me etch a sketch that and imprint what I feel about what you're saying, as if your feelings override the logic. The logic overrides feelings, and we understand humans move on emotion, But logic is what, when people say it's a man's world but women run it, well, it's a man, really it's the structural math that just structurally controls the world. And logic is math is the language of logic. Verse, this is why when he was quoting numbers, yeah, I didn't know, but I feel, and I'm like, but you all are the most educated though. So you all should be able to tap into your logic. Well, we're women. Well, you're adults first. You're not a little girl, and you're supposed, as an adult, a 30-year-old woman, you're supposed to be more logical than like a 15, 16-year-old male.
Well, they say, or not they say, but I've heard before, women mature faster, but they stop maturing at after their first child. You know,
well,
like
these are women that didn't have. You're right, but these are women that didn't have kids. That accounts for some of it,
yeah.
but because I've heard that too. Like women, like I've heard that in reference to like Bernice Burgos a lot. Like women that have kids. Like I mean, shit. Maya doesn't have kids, but she married herself. By the way, marrying yourself is equivalent to having a sex doll. So y'all talk all that shit about having sex dolls. I get it. I agree. But if you marry yourself, where's the smoke for that? That is a declaration that you failed. And for my dude, I shout out to O'Shea. Maya married herself when she was 34 years old.
As fine as she is,
Maya could have got a 6-figure dude to drink her piss.
Yeah.
Probably got a 7-figure dude, and maybe not a 7-figure dude, but definitely Maya would have got 7 figures. She would probably got to 36, 37 and could have still probably secured a 7-figure, especially she didn't have kids.
Yeah. Okay.
For somebody like that, I'm not saying it'd have been easy, but that would have been that I would understand, because that would have been on some Nick Cannon, I'm taking her off the fucking market shit. She got everything for her, light skin, all. So here's a woman that's got light skin, got the ambiguous features, all the shit the bitches, say they want, and has it easy. And she don't even have like an attitude like that. Yet she married herself at 31. Talk about some self-love. And then she's talking about, oh, well, I came out of a toxic relationship. That is code for you got alpha widow like a motherfucker. That dick did some shit to you like Alexis Tyler. You just didn't see it on the outside. She was probably wrecked on the inside. And she was basically like, that's some alpha widow shit right there. I don't want nothing else. If that dick doesn't do it, I'm marrying myself. That's how I interpret what she did. And she married herself from 34 to 41, because she said 7 years, and she just renewed her vows. I want you to understand that. Shania Lathan, I don't think is married herself, but they do the same goofy shit. Nicole Murphy out here, a wandering homewrecker. Which, by the way, the other chick that called in talking about basically every black man cheats, which is code for, we're just angry because we're tired of the game.
I can do it too, is what that's fucking code for.
As if black women don't cheat. Like, I love how this is always predicated on black women never cheat. It's just like, that shit kills me. And then you can tell that this stuff is not thought through. But going back to the feeling part, it's telling you they know what it is. They're not all ignorant to what goes on. They choose to think it's a choice. Remember what Kanye said about slavery, which I don't agree with, saying slavery is a choice. But the shit that these women do, that's a fucking choice. Remember that. That is a choice. That delusion is a choice. That shit is a choice. And all that surviving stories that they give you, nigga, Jim Rat, shut the fuck up. Maya is not overrated. Nigga, you might get blocked for saying that. Jim Rat, I'm telling you right now. Remember what I said about Nick shit? Well, Jim Rat has donated every once in a while, but we're not gonna have a debate about what Maya is. Why BGA say, like, yeah, Maya's an upgradable 7. Like, my BGA is bullshit. I remember that one time. You know what I want to hear. You know what soundbite I want to hear. I want to hear an argument that happens between Angry Man and BGS, where Angry Man's just say, BGS, you don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers, BGS.
I've been sitting here while other niggas have been getting a chance to speak, and I'm getting. Yo,
No, he
those,
said something. He's alluded to something close to that when
yo, those
but he
days in
never
the college
said it
team was
loud.
freaking hilarious, bro. Like,
Said BGS, you ain't always right. When we were talking about the fat girl shit, and Angry Ants came in there, you know, being angry, wouldn't be an angry man, and I mean that in a good way. And I knew I was trying to thread the needle, like, cause I said, nigga, I know you, like, I said, we are not talking about like a Bria Miles chick. We are talking about like Lizzo. So let's set the floor. So you saying Lizzo is cool, and he said, of course fucking not. Okay, fine, I'm just setting the floor. And cause even Charles Faulkner likes Bria Miles. So we're not talking about thick women or obese. That's not what the fuck we're talking about. But the way it sounded like, cause he was talking about like black, like we want white woman beauty standards. So I already knew. Number one, that's not true. Yeah, but so I was saying, look, what this is we are not on the same page. It's not that we disagree. So let's actually iron out what we actually disagree with.
motherfuckers be like, "Oh, she's got hips." Like, no, bitch, that's her pelvic bone. Like, get the
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Another thing is, fuck that how it lay bullshit.
oh shit,
Fuck that how it lay bullshit. Like, you know, yes, some women can get away with that, but those are exceptions, not the rule. All women are not going to get the how it lay lottery ticket. They're not going to win that. And here's another thing about the how it lay lottery ticket. Let them bitches have a kid, and you see how that shit. Remember, I told my younger cousins this, and this I keep telling y'all, I was red pill before red pill was a thing. I told my younger cousins that if you're bad, God's gonna do exactly what Santa Claus does. Santa Claus gives you coal if you're bad. What God does is He uses pregnancy to rewrite your ass. So y'all come out of pregnancy looking all fucked up, talking about I want to get my grown woman weight. Well, you don't know where that grown woman weight is gonna land.
right.
I've told my cousins that. So I said, y'all be out here fucking like that. You shouldn't have told them that. Well, they ain't fucking like that, are they? Not like that. Well, exactly. Yeah, y'all get pregnant, that shit don't go right. You don't get a do-over. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you good. It's your show, so. But Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews posted something today. It was, I think it was a side by side of the same chick. I thought it was different chicks. Actually.
Ooh, that 20 to 30. Hi, go ahead.
She was just like, "Oh, I look better now," and I'm like, "Listen, that if you look at her smile, it ain't perky like it used to be. That shit done flattened out. That shit done seen something."
You see the movie 10 Years a Slave?
Yeah,
10 years a black woman. That's what that shit is.
And then if you look at her, it's like, you know, she doesn't look as vibrant or whatever, or like you don't see that much energy behind her eyes. You know, she thicker than a Snicker. That's straight up. But
this is what chick has done to me. My testimonial.
But the other thing is, it's like, you know, she's like, well, you know, I got kids and I still get people. And I'm like thinking to myself, so that means you're not married to me. If I hear that. Like, that means you're not married. That means you still are entertaining other men, and you don't have anybody that's like locking you down and it's solid. So I don't know what you're thinking.
I'm about to show you something horrible. Since this dumbass dude popped up, I'm about to show you something horrible. But it's YouTube friendly, probably.
Trying to find that shit down too.
Oh, I got it, but that's not what I'm about. Look at this shit. This is what we are.
Yeah, doing Lil Nas X makeup. Yeah, I saw a little thing about. I heard a little thing about that too. That's kind of crazy.
I saw that on my feed. I said, YouTube, you better never show some shit like that to me. You saw what I shared in the Telegram. That's courtesy of Tariq Nasheed. Now that I'm not gonna show. Like that dude needs a sword, and he's to put himself through it once you go through that, because he really got his ass whooped. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm trying.
At the same time, they're still men. No matter how they act, they're still men. In terms of like, you got beat up by a gang of.
But the thing about it is, it's like, do you run in that situation? Because if you run, you're gonna get clowned by that if that gets shown. And but the thing about it is, you could tell he had hesitation about how he threw them punches. And I was like, nah, man, you gotta go out. Like, you gotta do something that like makes them like
remember. Like, I think it was a female security guard that really kind of got him to the ground too. She was like a real thick, like she was a big female security guard. if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, Tariq Nasheed, actually,
go to Tariq Nasheed's Twitter and scroll. You'll find it. And you won't even have to scroll.
And that uppercut, that uppercut was vicious, bro. That was
you've been warned.
That was
been warned. Yep, y'all know the crazy shit is on Facebook, so you've been warned. I'm not held accountable to what your eyes see.
Was that Facebook or Twitter?
Yeah, it's Twitter, and you know the crazy shit on Twitter. So damn you, you're held accountable if you go to Tariq Nasheed. That's his post. I don't want to hear it. Now, this is what we're talking about, guys.
Fine, trust me, fine in both pictures, but there's a difference. Look at the smile, look at the dimples, look at how she looks there on the left-hand side versus how she looks on the right, where she has to show the cleavage. It's not covered up anymore. Like one person pointed that out. Now she's got a tattoo underneath her titties. You know, and then the face.
I'll tell you right there, that's a disqualifier for me. I don't care how good you look.
Oh yeah,
I don't. That's a sign of craziness, and I've let go a lot of females. Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's a plus for me, but I like strippers. So, but then you look at the smile, the smile is flattened out. That shit is flatlined. She dead inside. Not really, but you know what I'm saying? It ain't the same. It just is not.
This is a dead eye stare before and after.
What does Jonathan Sharp call it? The 100 cock scare?
Yeah. And my thing is, and again, would you have to understand, this picture says so much. And keep in mind, she posted this. This is what she posted. This isn't a dude made a meme and all this bullshit. This is her post. This is her Twitter post. And then if you notice, we can argue the quote post and go back and forth between dudes using an example, which I doubt it. The retweets, I doubt it. The retweets are people that pretty much agree. And then the likes is definitely people that agree.
Yeah, so they want to fuck her.
No. Well, I think part of that, but I think this is more women that tweeted that.
Yeah, but at the same time, even me at my 25-year-old self versus my 30-year-old self, where I bought a nice watch, I bought a BMW 7 Series, I had a business going. I would shit on my old self too. But at the same time, why would you put up a post saying? I mean, again, she's talking about looks. And what she's actually talking about is sexual looks.
She's sexually politicking.
That's exactly what it is. And it's that's lust. It's oh, my 30-year-old me is shitting on the lust that my 20-year-old me would bring.
Let me tell you something. 20-year-old you is more likely to be in a relationship with a dude that's going to commit than 30-year-old you. 30-year-old you is there for that thing, and you know that they're there for that thing. This is why men are trash.
Yeah, niggas ain't shit.
Yeah, so and also for y'all that said that somebody said that Kelly Rowland is looking better than Maya. I think more people will say that Maya looks better. I will say Kelly Rowland's aged better, and dark skinned women typically can age better, all things being equal. So I will say that, and Maya hasn't aged badly. But and then obviously Kelly Rowland got to do. It's interesting because Kelly. That's a funny thing too. Kelly Rowland, I do believe settled. I do believe Kelly Rowland could have did better than what she got. But at the end of the day, she settled, and she settled with a dude that was spending her money and all that shit. And that she had to rework her marriage because he was her manager, and so. And I'm gonna keep it real. That's another reason why I think a lot of black women don't gravitate towards Kelly Rowland, because I think that Kelly Rowland operates outside of what the gynocentric culture is. Kelly. If anything, Kelly Rowland's underrated. Kelly Rowland's very underrated.
Look at Tech Man Clan Killer.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Because a lot of that, you can tell when a lot of people. My point, yeah, you can tell with the tats and all of that. And the thing about it is, this is what happens when you do what the fuck you want to do. Yep. And nobody can't tell you shit. That's one thing. Yeah, she does look good for her age. But again, yeah, there's a difference between, women will over sexualize themselves and use sexual access as a way to make up for the tangible shit. And then they get mad when they attract dudes that are just trying to hit. Even dudes of value, they're just trying to hit. He said Kelly Rowland ain't all that real talk. I said, look, man, I'm not gonna get in an argument about what people look like because it is what it is. My point, is what it is. But yeah.
I mean, but the point is, when you look at what she's saying, It's like, okay, 10 years. If you got really fucked up over a 10-year period, you've been doing some real fucked up shit to yourself. You have not been taking care of yourself or what have you. But let's look at 20 years. Let's look at 30 years. Let's look at when you still
Kelly's married. Kelly is married to a black man. What the fuck are you talking about? Kelly's a swirler. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at when she's 40 years old or what have you. And then not only that, let's look at what her marital status is. Like, where's she at with kids? I think she has kids and all. So she's got at least 2.
Well, there you go. You judging. You know, they see to them in a system of gynocracy. And you can. And here's the funny thing. You notice how when she was talking about that queen thing, she said only thing that's required in order for you to be a queen is for you to be a mother. Well, remember what I told you, in the system of black gynocracy, being a mother is more important than being a wife. But these people claim to be Christian. I mean, we've been saying this shit. The only thing that Kevin's done is make the shit is upgrade. Remember, I told you there's I told you about audience. There's mainstream media. There's radio, which is kind of like the lower level of mainstream media. Radio. You've got mainstream social media, which is like the bigger blogs, World Star, Vlad, Boss Up, that white funded shit. Then you've got like bigger, the lower level of social media was kind of like your Jason Blacks, Kevin's in there, O'Shea's in there, and then you got what we do. These are kind of the levels, and Kevin is basically getting to basically the high level, and then he's starting to move into mainstream media, not mainstream media, but mainstream social media, which mainstream social media can get picked up by lower level mainstream media. And so a lot of the stuff that he's saying is stuff that we've said. These are not things he don't disagree with. And like I said, I care about the message getting out. I don't care about who gets credit. And to be fair, Kevin does give credit. He know like when he does. But the point is, because he's even giving me credit on the find your own store thing. But you're starting to see these views be put out there, and you see how these women at a mass level like interact with it, and you see they don't have answers for it. The dudes don't have answers for it. And what they do is they just respond to it emotionally because they can't respond to it because they've never had to deal with it before. And they've never had to deal with it from somebody that's visible, that they can't just say he's a dusty, he's broke, he's short, because he's 6'4". You know, he ain't been married. They can't. This is where the gay thing are, and you know it's how the gay shit is starting to be tamped down a little bit. Ever since he did that roast himself, they starting to let that shit go because now that shit's starting to seem goofy. To be honest with you, somebody can definitely tag him with the hypocrisy, people with the hypocrisy on homophobia, because they'll be like, "Oh, y'all ain't got no smoke." For as much as these women are putting that shit out there, and really, and I mean, again, I'm not bringing up the swirl one. We need to see now. This is how we're going to come up with a pet name for Miss KKK. That's probably why I'll call her KKK. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, KKK. You know, girl this world.
Oh, okay.
KKK. Yeah, he's always talking about Zaddy. So Miss KKK, basically, you know, it's talking about I'm quitting YouTube because somebody asked her to produce a testimonial.
Yeah, I was thinking about the one that got knocked out. The one that calls it TKO. I call it the one that got knocked out.
Oh yeah, TKO. Okay, yeah. So I was like, yo, y'all niggas, you can't call black German shepherds. Like, we're more creative. That's one thing black women won't deny. We are way more creative than you all are.
Well, yeah, I mean, but if you look at, like, for instance, a prime example is like Coach Greg Adams, P sleeve, and all the other terms that he uses to cover up some of the stuff he says, and he says it like just quick.
Yeah, like, don't make us go get some of these gamer dudes that do edits. I know some white bitches do some. I know some white do some edits that'll put a lot of what black dudes do to sleep, like combo videos and stuff. It's some impressive shit. I got a job for you. Don't worry about it. Just cut these videos, and this is what I want.
But I'm like looking at this chick, whatever her name is, Russell. You know, again, like, she's beautiful in both pictures. Like, she is beautiful. But when you start to like really look at female nature and understanding that type of stuff, because I'm that type of MGTOW. I'm not the type of MGTOW that's like MGTOW monk. I don't fuck with women, or MGTOW red pill raging. I've gotten past that. But I'm type of MGTOW where it's like I'm looking at the female nature. I'm looking at the nuances. I'm looking at like, okay, you got this picture here, but I'm looking at the fact that your smile is different. Your eyes is a little bit different. Like the way your head is like, it's leaned the same way, but it doesn't seem the same. Like there's something totally different. There's a different look to you. Like, even if it's like, okay, hey, listen, on the left side, you is maybe sweet, innocent, whatever the fuck. But on the right hand side, you got the resting bitch face. And it's just like, what happened? What did 10 years do to you to a point where you're looking like this? And then
what happened with Christy too, man. You deal with it. Could be one nigga. You playing games back and forth. I mean, it is what it is. No, but go ahead. My bad.
Nah, I mean, and then you listen to, and then it gets solidified, or that gets solidified when you listen to some of these women. You listen to some of these women that call into these shows. You read some of these comments that are underneath some of these videos and things like that, and it's just like, I could see where it's coming from. And then even women that I personally know, where I'm like, I was even thinking like to even buy a session with Love Dorsey for like two of my homegirls, because I'm listening to him today and I'm like, I really feel bad for him. Like I really do.
Yeah, I mean, you know what she's good for, but like, bitch, you need to be cussed out. I got somebody for you. I'm gonna buy you a session for you to talk. That's actually a real good. I mean, that ain't what she gonna do, because she even says that's not what she does. But
you a Love Dorsey session for Christmas to get you for New Year's, so you can write the proper resolutions of what you need to do.
Man, Tiny TKO is a joke, man. I don't even know why anybody takes her seriously.
No, I'm not related to T Grizzly. I got called Young Grizzly because of how I look.
So let's see. Yeah, this is nigga. This post got 145,000 likes.
Yeah, because essentially
1.2, 14 retweets, exactly. And so this is how much people have resonated with this video, just so y'all can see a bigger version of this. And then we'll wind this down.
And the worst part is, it's like, okay, you got kids, and then it's like you still putting yourself out there. I don't know, man. And
yeah, and she's doing it, and again, yeah. No, go ahead.
I'm gonna have to visit her page. That shit, she fine as fuck. To me, I'm like,
I don't carry those same opinions that Grizzly has. I mean, I'm not saying she ugly, but I don't. So I just want to,
No, I look at her and I'm like, okay, I've seen her in the club before. That's a $10 dance right there.
With quick weave. Quick weave.
And what is that, 2009? 2009. Whoa, quite the difference. Quite the difference.
Man, what is these? See, I ain't seeing a lot of pictures. Where's the media? This talking about you got 25,000 subscribers. Don't play with me.
You gotta see if she got like an Instagram or some shit.
Yeah, she on Twitter, so you know it's some bullshit. She'd be on Instagram. You're on Twitter because you trying to be out there.
And then it's like,
these are problems, nigga.
Like, you teach me how to tie a cherry with my tongue. What type of skill is that? What is that? How does that help you? We know how it helps you, but how does that help you? And is that her right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Probably got a Pornhub profile. Probably what that is. You know, these chicks be saying fuck Instagram. They be really a lot of these women be saying fuck Instagram. Instagram is too. Fuck that. I can't even do what I need to do on Instagram. Even though Instagram got a great algorithm for that. Like, bitch, telling you not to show nipples. Is that so fucking hard?
And even like listening to somebody like Love Dorsey, right, where she says,
I'll give her credit for getting braces.
Love Dorsey will say like,
but fuck her son, no. Go ahead.
he looked like he had. I thought he had braces on.
No, that ain't what that shit is. Look like he letting his son teeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck your son. Maybe he ain't old enough yet. That'd be the bullshit they say. What you saying with Love Dorsey?
Yeah, if you listen to Love Dorsey, where she'll say things like, a lot of these chicks will go on like they'll be on, what's it called? They'll be on the call crying and all this. Look at this shit. And you got a son. And your 30-year-old self will beat your 20-year-old self. Come on now. Look at the face. You don't see no smile no more. What happened? Who hurt you, boo?
You know what Jason Black says when it comes to tattoos? He's the Black Authority. I'm just going through here. I ain't even,
Who hurt you?
Look. The only 20-year-old I'm comparing myself is to the 20-year-old me, period. Y'all be cute, be too cute to be embarrassing yourselves like this. I literally compare myself to myself. What's the problem? Oh, you seeking enlightened Twitter cool points and retweets by being up to yeah. I'll give her that. She won that round. Gotta read, but they try to say it's embarrassing.
No, but you know what's happening though? Look at what she said in that first comment. Read that shit again.
Where?
The only 20-year-old I'm comparing myself to is a 20-year-old me, period. Which means that both these motherfuckers look like those two pictures, they look like two totally different people.
That is true. That's a good
That's exactly what she's saying.
That's what she thought. Yeah.
Two different people.
She thought, that's funny. And yeah, if she just did it off the cuff, being kind of triggered. I'll give her points. I'll give her points though for poking that out. But you got to be, yeah, you right though. You right. See,
like you look like a whole different bitch. That's what she's saying.
Yeah. So.
But the thing is, somebody's gonna look at it like, "Oh, I literally did that," and it's like, "Oh shit, that was you."
And Harambe said that Maya is. I'm my bad for taking so long. Maya's a solid 8, but real, she's nuts. Yeah, I think she's an 8. Yeah, I think that too. Yeah, that's an accurate assessment. Not arguing with a pedestrian about the quality of pussy. Holla at me when your pussy gets. This is, you see the picture she poses up. Get some reliable transportation, sugar. You see when women start arguing, women on women crime. You see that this gives you good insight when they start going at each other, like it does. This is, I know this is what we going into 2021 doing. I was going to do a state of manager. We'll do that later. I'm doing this before I ended. 2021 is all about getting the car, moving out, and having multiple streams of income, which completing my math. Like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, what does this mean?
Yeah, but okay, so she's talking about, one, how old is this girl, Just Josie? 2, you have a car, or you're going and you're completing your master's. Like, sadly, that means she's probably not making as much as she probably could, because she actually has to study. She has to focus on her schooling. But you're gonna go after a chick that versus, hey, you got a Pornhub or something account.
This is what you do. What y'all do. Ladies, let me tell y'all something. What y'all do is y'all need to start forwarding this shit to the proper authorities, aka us. In this particular video, I would probably say Jason Black in the business would be particularly appropriate for this, because Jason Black will go in too, and he does it in such a way that women don't lose their shit. So if you want to put her on blast, Jason Black would be the person to do it. Tariq Nasheed, he won't go as deep, but this would be a great business video. O'Shea would do a 10-minute video for this, but Jason Black will put 4 hours on this shit.
But this is,
look at all these tats, and then some of these tats are not bad, but I'm like, obviously women will say that dudes shouldn't judge this. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead, man. I'll take the time. What saddens me about this is that I know what the other sound is, or I know how this is on the other side. Like it looks good in front of everybody out in public on Twitter and stuff like that. But these chicks are not happy. They're not. And you could tell by a little bit of just the pictures.
Apples
You
don't
can
fall
tell.
from the
Like,
tree.
oh, I remember taking that motorcycle class. Like, come on, man, look at that.
YouTube will fucking flag me.
That's the crazy shit. Like, this is you now.
This is like going to the dark side of the force. Call me a nerd if you fucking want to. I'll give you credit for the teeth. Jessica need to call her.
Right.
You
Well,
need to
maybe
fix your fucking son's teeth though.
maybe that's why she's not smiling. She has the what's it called? She has braces.
Bullshit. I mean, that's part of it. Yeah, but yeah, this is so her shit. But this is only going back to the 23rd, so you can tell she
be on there heavy.
Yeah, she be nip tucking her Twitter, which is smart with the post. Some people do that. So yeah, but look, this is a pinned tweet. Yeah, this tweet is going viral. This is viral as fuck, man.
Listen, to me, she's beautiful. I fuck with her. I don't know how long.
Oh God, what the fuck?
But I don't know, man. She got there's something going on with that.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, at the end of the day, man, in Chicago, they got a term called straight for the stroke. Being straight for the stroke don't mean you're going to be in a relationship with somebody. And the thing about it is, when people, just because a woman can get dick don't mean shit.
Yeah.
It really don't. That's like dudes saying that they can take beautiful women out to spend money on them for high end dinners, and that's not hard for dudes to do that. I mean, especially if you're not getting nothing after.
Yeah, or dudes that be like, the dudes that take the woman approach, I can fix her, turn her hoe to a housewife type shit. She like Eminem, so she got some musical taste, at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, my thing is sharing that just so people can try to act like, yeah, I know Tony Hawk was talking about nobody recognized him, which I'm sure he don't want to be bothered with motherfuckers. I mean, I'm not, and people, oh, you're judging her, you're doing this. But when you hear these females talk this bullshit that they talk when Kevin's talking, and then it's all the problem in the black community is they try to say everything a woman does somehow there's a black man that's the origin of their bullshit. And a lot of black men believe that. And that's why that dude tried to call in. And you got to think the fact that he tried to call in first and then he got his wife to call in, come in, then basically he tried to come in like you could tell like he had emotion. He had a lot of emotion that he was about to dump off. And that could be another reason why Kevin didn't take it on top of not wanting to do that. And my thing is, dude, if you really feel that type of way, man, YouTube is free. Make a video and say your piece.
Somebody would watch it.
Well, we'll watch it. We'll make that shit famous as fuck because dudes get roasted. You get but my point is, these are like, black men don't protect black women. So his answer as to why black women operate the way they operate is because black men don't protect them. And when I actually have dudes, and I remember I asked the dude, bro, whatever fucking name is, Brother Ray, and I asked him, okay, because he was talking about black men just talk on social media. So I said, what would you have black men do? What is your idea what black men should do? And he said, well, black men should be willing to give their life and take life. So I asked him an open-ended question, and that's what his brain produced. That's why I love asking open-ended. See, BGS likes asking closed-ended questions. I like asking open-ended because you can't blame me for what you say. So if you say crazy shit, that's between you and your brain. That's actually the deception technique. And it doesn't really matter the answer you give me because I go either way. If you say something that makes sense, I'll acknowledge it and we'll move on because it's not about being right. But you got to be willing to give your life and take life. And then another dude just came out of nowhere with a battery in his back talking about, you got to be willing to deal with the pigs. And I'm like, if you all really feel that way, then just leave the United States. Like, get your shit together, leave the United States, keep your citizenship, and get dual citizenship, and just leave. Go to a place with just black people. Like, This idea that like they deal with it, but you're gonna find, as O'Shea said, that there's a lot of issues there too, because it's not necessarily about women are not the uplifted beauty standard.
Well, it's a lot more issues, a lot of issues that they're gonna have to deal with, a lot of things that are closer to survival rather than just living in first world comfort. Like, that's why you take vacations to some of these places, but you don't live there. The work ain't the same. Minimum wage is really minimum there.
Yeah, they don't think, and they really don't, and they make these statements. I mean, shout out to Georgia Boy, and I told Georgia Boy, I said he ain't as bad as a lot of. He's nowhere near as bad as a lot. He's still within parameters of like manhood and common sense, but he'll be like, "Yeah, man, let y'all tell it." Black women, only women were problems. We're talking about black women because number one, most of the dudes fuck black women in the manosphere. Right. And second of all, like this idea of, well, it's just the women you choose. Well, that's just code for it's a small percentage of women is doing that, which is not true because the community doesn't reflect that reality. And also, the manosphere wouldn't even exist if black women weren't even blaming black men for all of their fucking problems in the first place, or if black women were happy. Think about it. But that sassy chick, they called in, Kevin said, and I forgot what the title was, so I had to go back and look. And I was like, damn, he did just say modern women. He's been saying modern women because, he's done a video. By the way, for everybody says Kevin only targets black women, he did that video about Tommy Lawrence. I don't know why y'all trying to front. If something presents itself that's big enough, he'll do the video. So I don't know why people are saying, well, you target black women, you do this, you do that. No, is how you're feeling shit and not listening. Listening. Yeah. No, go ahead.
There's two things to that. One, he deals with black men mostly. I mean, that's kind of what he started with, it seems like, from what I've seen in the past. Mm-hmm. And two, a lot of these people are new subscribers. Like, I've never really followed Kevin Samuels. We've talked to him, like, I think I've talked to him once on a panel. That's about it. And like, but when you do
Google Hangout days.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the Coliseum and shit. But like, I mean, even when he was talking to me about stuff, because it seemed like, I guess I was maybe a person that would have been a possible client for him. And I'm like, no, I'm like this because I want to be. I can clean up and do whatever the fuck I want. Even with the weight that I have, I can still pull something. But if I don't choose to, I don't choose to. I'm okay with that. Like, because I'm a person that's really like, I don't worry about so much the outward look. I'm more about the mentality, and we've talked about that before.
Yeah, but, to be fair, that's like why BGS even brought him in. So yeah, but go ahead. Mm-hmm.
A lot of these people are new subscribers, so they haven't looked at it. They haven't gone through the catalog. They haven't looked at all his old videos and things like that. And that's it. That's what I gotta say.
No, absolutely not. Sorry, you know how I am, man. I could be long winded, but yeah, man. As far as yeah, I mean, and so she was being sassy, and basically you could tell she didn't even know how to. A lot of these chicks don't even know how to communicate with black men. They really don't, because they feel like that sounded like that Rochelle chick's mom. They got this voice, this is like that Sinji annoying voice, where it's like it's patronizing as hell, and it's like you do realize I am not required to even entertain this conversation. Well, I'm not.
There's no respect in their voice. There's no respect in their mannerisms. There's no respect in their behavior towards black men. And they don't see that. They don't care about that. They don't want to actually acknowledge that, hey, listen, you don't respect your men. And that's okay. That's fine. That's what you want to do. And that's how you want to move through the world. But when a man says, hey, I'm not going to deal with that respect, and you start having a problem with it, you start having an allergic reaction to it, you start saying, hey, listen, you need to listen to me. We're not conversation takes two. It's both ways. It's this and that. Then that's a fucking problem, and you need to chill the fuck out. Like, that's my shit that kills me. Is like they don't want to accept that. Hey, they don't want to accept that we're not accepting it. Like, I guess that's the best way I can say it. Like, it kills them. I know you muted up. Probably listening to a low Josie video.
No, I heard. No, I'm listening to this when Mario finds out he's 100% black. on some GTA shit. But yeah, man, and so those calls, I mean, those calls were clinic. I mean, people niggas be talking about, yeah, man, Kevin talk about getting married, man. He's black women. We need to lead the community. SYSBM. I said, motherfucker, that shit is an SYSBM infomercial. I don't know why y'all don't subscribe to him and push him up as far as you can go. Like, he's doing more for SYSBM than any of you motherfuckers will ever do.
Yeah,
Just by them calling.
and he's exposing it. Like, what's it called? The David Carroll says, like, the number one plague to visit the black community is the internet, because what the internet did is bring it from the local streets and from the home and the local streets all the way out to the public where everybody can see it. Everybody can see World Star Hip Hop. They can see the fights that you have. They can see the way that motherfuckers is running around in the streets. I remember one video on World Star Hip Hop, where a chick got hit in the back of the head with like a crowbar, and she instantly fell. Like, just her body just went limp. And I was like, holy shit. Like, it was crazy to see it. But this is what people are seeing.
Yeah, I've seen women get body slammed. I done seen dude body slam like 5 black women on World Star because they were whooping on, I guess, his girl's ass, and them chicks were just getting back up. Like, it was crazy. But Smurgo, I'm gonna end it with this. Smurgo said, "Who thinks Sinji is low key kind of bad though?" Oh no, there's a lot of dudes that secretly believe that. Like, Sinji's got a very strong male audience. And all of y'all that listen to her, like, I'm not talking about listen for information, because some people listen to respond. I get that, so I'm gonna take them dudes out because I got cussed out for that one time. Even though there's only so much you can listen to her to respond to, because that means the shit she's saying is worth responding. But whatever, I'll leave that to your own disposition. But any of y'all to really validate her, y'all are some bitch ass niggas, and y'all are forever bitch ass niggas. Like, I'm not talking about you, Smurgle. I get what you're saying, but seriously, and a lot of y'all low key, y'all some Kendrick Perkins niggas that y'all like bitches like that. Y'all, and I don't even know why y'all niggas are in this space, because y'all have a mental problem. A lot of y'all, just like how a lot of black women love that you ain't shit love. A lot of black men love being told they ain't shit, and they get addicted. So there's a guy that I follow by the name of Jeffrey Combs. He's got a podcast called Golden Mastermind and seminars. Just type in Golden Mastermind podcast, it'll come up. Dude's been doing this shit for like literally 25 years, week after week after week, every Tuesday. 52 times 30, that's how many podcasts he has. If you pay like $100 a month for this, it would be cheap. It's free. Podomatic. And this is a dude that sells stuff, seminars, all that. But he talks about addiction. He has been addicted. Alcohol, all that. He's a millionaire. So he's came out of all that. The point is, he talks about addiction as far as not just alcohol or like the substance, but he talks about like the emotions that your brain gets programmed. Let me give you an example, something dudes understand. Like, when you look at a lot of porn, your brain overall will become wired to want what you see in porn, which is a hyper version of sex. So your ability to actually engage with a woman, depending on how much you deal with porn, can actually be fucked with by you doing that. This is why dudes talk about no fap, all that. Glenn and Cameron talks about that. Even Solo talks about that. And so your brain can be wired if you're dealing with porn on a daily basis, even every other day basis. So that's not actual substance, but you see how that visual wires your brain. We already know the delusions of black women and social media, so we don't need to get into that. My point is, going back into emotions, you can be addicted to emotions. You see it all the time with black women calling Kevin. They're addicted to the idea of being a victim, of self-hatred, self-loathing, of blaming black men. They're addicted to these emotions, and the subconscious brain refracts that over and over and over, because your brain, and I study hypnosis, so I can tell you the subconscious brain cannot tell, but it doesn't delineate between real info and fake info. It's just info. So when you get on social media and stuff like this, it just processes it as info, and social media is designed to keep you watching it, just like the TV is designed to keep you watching it. So it's designed to create a feedback loop that keeps you there. This is why we use things like statistics in order to bring us back to reality. This is why Lloyd Cutno says turn off the fucking TV and get off of social media, for that very reason. Now, this is why we also tell dudes to get overseas, to get out of the American bubble. Going back to the emotional addiction, though, is you have to break those emotional wiring structures, and that's like developing a habit or breaking a bad habit, and it's not easy to do. You have to be aware of it, and it's like lifting a muscle. It's like if you don't work out and all of a sudden you work out, you're going to be weak as fuck. It's going to take time. So he talks about that. He goes into detail about that. A lot of stuff that I talked to you all about when it comes to the anger factor and being angry, like being an angry giver, I got that. That's him. So that I got that from him. So he's got a lot of stuff, books. He's got books, all that stuff. Whatever amount of money you want to spend. But if you don't want to spend no money, if you go to his podcast and just type it, search anything, search angry, search emotions. He's got a whole bunch of hour podcasts y'all can pull up. And my point is, like I said, he talks about the emotions, and when you see that, when you're looking at like even black men with Cynthia G, a lot of you niggas, your mama told you want shit, so you all get addicted to that emotion because you feel being told you ain't shit and being guilty is love, and a lot of Cynthia G's male audience, they believe that shit, and this is why I brought up Amiri in the first place, is because he's a representative of Ducey. A lot of people said, oh, he was just listening to her, and he wasn't just listening; he was on a panel with her constantly. They were doing like a sideshow for a while. And the thing about it is he believes a lot of the shit she says. And once you separated him from her, and I got him and I asked him, it didn't take a long time. I didn't ask him a question. I didn't like really get that out of him. He literally said that black men date out more than any other race of demographic. He literally said, and I'm talking date out. He literally also said, and I got the Facebook post, said that black men's self-determinism has been predicated on their ability to do that since the 60s, which means he buys into a lot of that pathology. Happy New Year for the West Coast. He buys into that pathology, which is why somebody like Cynthia G, he was able to gravitate towards, and he's a representative of a lot of black men that believe that, and it's not just Cynthia G, it's Chrissy and all of them, especially Chrissy now. Chrissy wasn't always that way. And Cynthia G has been relatively the same. She got more hardcore, but there's a pervasive, there's dudes that actually buy into that. It's a lot more than you think it is. They may not speak. And yeah. I mean, and them niggas, and when he I'd invited him to come up, and then he still want to talk to me in a Facebook chat as if you being a man, you didn't say I don't want to come up there. You said you would come through and give me the work. But then you gonna still talk to me on Facebook, like, and I haven't responded to him since then because I'm like, dude, you said you come up, you didn't come up. As far as I'm concerned, you scared ass nigga. Because I'll talk to him even on Profit of Thought. I will debate Amiri's ass. And I don't like doing debates like that. But yeah, you're gonna sit there and come up to Cynthia G with her bullshit, but I invite you, you gonna talk about the Manosphere is, oh, well, you niggas, like the shit that the women do, he basically said we do. Oh, you niggas just want to be right. You niggas just gonna pull up there, beat me up, da 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 da. And I'm like, nigga, please. Like you think like a bitch. And I'm not trying to call him a bitch, but I'm like, okay, go ahead.
But even if you did, I mean, even if that happens, I've been on panels where, you get like hit by 2 or 3 different people. Like, you're not going to defend yourself, and it's verbal, like it's not physical.
Yeah, and I've been on panels when I've gotten hit by multiple heavy hitters.
Me, I've said shit where like, man, hey, what the fuck.
But you defend what you defend. But it's not even about that, because I told him, I said it would just be me and you. And then and then he tried to act like, oh, well, you overtalked me once, I'm leaving. I mean, he did everything. I'm like, dude, then just say you don't want to come up. Because if you really gonna give me this work and you just not talking shit, if I'm really so easy to give work, then why don't you have a conversation to prove your point? But I've already talked to Amiri before. When I actually give the logic to him, he agrees with it. He does that agree but disagree bullshit that a lot of niggas that don't stand on shit do. I agree with you, but da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, because the shit you say is not countering nothing that I'm saying. You basically agree, but you don't want to give me the satisfaction of saying I'm right. And that's a female shit. It is, because that's what women do. We see it all the time. And so I'm not trying to make this about hitting a Mary, but I'm just saying, dudes come, you got a lot of dudes like that, and they validate the system as it is. This is not somewhere it's just, if it was just straight black men versus black women, it wouldn't be like this. This is not a gender war. This is a culture situation. And they are invested in the black community. They're invested in the narrative. They're invested in the narrative that black men are not doing enough, but they want to ignore the fact that the black men that these women are going out of their way to fucking have children with are basically the black men that are quote unquote not doing enough. But then somehow that's everybody's fault. Like even those women when they were calling to Kevin, the ones that didn't have a dad in the home. If you notice, it didn't matter if they did it, they didn't. They were saying the same bullshit. Yeah. But if you notice, the ones that didn't, they never wanted to say it was the mother's fault for the dude he chose. All those women, whether they agreed, disagreed, out of all of them, maybe like one woman. But the rest of them, none of them wanted to blame feminism. None of them wanted to blame the women in their family. It was like maybe one, maybe two, to be fair. They might have alluded to it, but none of them wanted to say that. And they want to talk about I'm confused. I didn't know. Bullshit.
It's against their program.
Exactly.
Like the only time they'll blame themselves is when it's to avoid blaming their own mother.
Yep. And this is what I'm talking about you being scared. Everybody's scared of that bitch. And I hate to say it that way, but I'm gonna say it that way. And it's like you all want to talk about doing something. You're not doing anything. Like you want to do all this, and I deal with this in when I talk about people getting on the fucking phone and calling people. They want to do everything in the world, but what the fuck they just said? I said, can you even just pick up the phone, dial a phone number as soon as you hear a ring, hang up? Can you even do that? Well, I can't exactly. But you want to do all this internet marketing bullshit, spend this money so you could come back to tell me the shit don't work and I scam you. I'm telling you right now, this is how you do it. This is how you do it inexpensively. I've shown dudes how to get leads that are 90 days old. It's a website called selfserveleads.net. You can get leads that are 90 days old for literally a cent a lead. So 10 leads, you got $1,000. You could there's a software called Slide Dial where you can call directly to voicemail. If you're willing to pay like 10 cents a message, you can send up to 10 messages with a pre-recorded message. You could do that. So for 10 cents times 1,000, okay, that'd be $100. You can hit like 10 messages doing that like 100 times. I got dudes that they don't even want to do that because that's how afraid of that phone that they are. But then they'll want to spend a whole bunch of money. And then if I take their money and I don't give them a guarantee, now it's my fault. And I've told dudes, I said, no, if I take your money, man, if you don't do what the fuck I'm saying, don't fucking get mad. I don't want to hear that shit because I don't need nobody putting my name on Google saying that I'm a scam artist. That's not what's going to happen. So I'm telling you right now, you need to pick up that fucking phone. Well, man, okay. So
it's not
going to be a good fit.
We have that problem even in IT, even in my day job. Where we just have some technicians where my boss has said, listen, man, you be able to resolve this problem if you just pick up the phone. It'll be so quick if you just picked up the phone. Even there's this website that I actually had to write a web scraper on that got all the names and phone numbers for all these different barbers because it was one of those booking websites. And I was able to get all the information from there. And then I literally was like a list of like a couple thousand. I think it was like in the 5 figures or 5 digits, I should say. And I literally had to go through that list and then just got all the ones that were in Miami. So that cut it down to like a couple hundred or like 100 or so. And I went through that list and I called every single one of those people, every single one of them, because I had to make sure it was sink or swim. Like if I didn't do that, my salon, which still just didn't work out anyway, but I had to fill the seats in my salon. My business partner needed help and I wanted to help him. And that's the way I found out how to do it. So I was just like, all right, I didn't like it. I had to get used to it. I started to do text messages afterwards and everything else like that. But a lot of people don't want to actually sacrifice the hit to their ego of being hung up on, of being told, don't call me no more. Like a lot of people are non-confrontational, even your hardest of the hard, like they're very non-confrontational in certain things. And it's kind of weird because then you see them act and react to certain things like outside of what they were doing before, like making cold calls. They're like afraid of this shit, and it's like you're afraid of making money. So, okay, you're a person that needs a
Yeah.
job. You're not
And,
a
and
big.
and the thing about it, and you're absolutely right. And there's ways of making the calls less cold. Like if a call is 90 days old, most likely they haven't found something. And a lot of times, usually if you press some shit is when the attitude comes in. But if you let them have their first reaction and then you like press, that's when you're getting a little bit risky. But usually if they say they're not interested, you just deal with it and you just have enough leads to go through the numbers. Like my point was is like at the end of the day, I know what you're told. Like in the internet, I know what you all are told it can be done. I'm not saying it can't, but the reality is what I need to do has to be sustainable and has to be something that I know can work. And the other stuff you add on to it because you have to understand like the funnel process, the business process. And then later on, once you have money to actually spend, you add to that. But the point is, like, people really want to act like people that live, black men that listen to Sinji and they listen to all that, they like being told they ain't shit. They like be told they shit. They like be told it's not their fault because that's usually what they got in their household. It's the same reason. And then when people call in and like when a lot of these women, because they believe in that narrative. And see, that's another thing that a lot of black men, including the Jason Blacks and stuff of the world, we don't really call that shit out enough. We really don't. And I think that's gonna change because that's gonna start to change because a lot of y'all, we wouldn't have so much pushback if these women didn't know. Because a lot of these women are saying, well, I don't hear this in my real life because these niggas are telling you what the fuck you want to hear.
Yeah. A lot
Some of them, yeah.
And these bitches are asleep.
Yeah, and I'm like, and this is where you niggas need to speak up, and then the ones that want to tell people what they want to hear and they don't validate the information need to shut the fuck up. Or what you need to do is actually come get in the arena and have the conversation and back up what you talking about. Because a lot of them dudes, you know who them dudes are. And when we were in high school, everybody had that dude that a lot of people didn't like. That if they would tell, even if you were the dude that got pussy, you had to worry about this nigga that would snitch on you. And they were getting pussy by being the chief snitch to the niggas that were getting pussy. Like, right. And I was in that group. I was in that group that was getting pussy, and I was around dudes who was getting pussy. I was more like kind of like the noble in that, and kind of in that group. And these dudes would think I kind of like I was one of them type of dudes. So that some of them would try to confide in me, and I never did that because I wasn't trying to get in no unnecessary fights. It just wasn't that serious. Them bitches wasn't that serious to me. But yeah, and I had dudes that were friends I had to let go because they had that propensity to do that shit. And they had fathers in their homes. They had dudes that were really deep in the community and shit. I'm thinking of one dude in particular. It was like, damn, nigga, this is the game. This is the dirty dick macking you doing. Because that was dirty dick macking. Like, that was like the earliest stages of what I would find out is dirty dick macking is that bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as like the cold calling stuff, like I actually have my script here, and the intro will go, "Hi, I'm calling on behalf of Top Cutters 2 Barbershop, Hair and Nail Salon. Do you have a moment to talk, or would it be better to text you some information?" And then I have a portion of it that says, "Wait for answer." So like, and this is I'm a person that doesn't do cold calling like that. I don't do, that's not my business. But if people aren't willing to make those changes, make those sacrifices, or take those risks, then they're going to be in these situations. And sometimes, like, if we apply to what we're talking about, some men and women are not willing to take that risk of, okay, the denial, the rejection of not telling this man or woman what they don't want to hear, like just being honest with. Like some women do that shit too. Like, actually, not some women do that shit too, where the guy that they're with, they don't want to tell him like, yo, listen, you wrong, and I really don't appreciate it, so on and so forth. Now, well,
they refuse to correct the women. They're scared.
Yeah. They refuse to correct the dude. And then the worst part is, and back to what we were saying, is like, a lot of these women are asleep and they don't wake up until their kid is past 18 or they're in their 30s, like they're mid to late 30s. And it's sad because I'm seeing it all around me. Like I'm seeing it in the women in my life in terms of like family, and then also like homegirls and stuff like that. It's like, it's really kind of fucked up. And then even I see it in personally, even with my own sister, not so much the hitting the wall and that BS, but the betrayal that that black men have to go through, and actually the scrutiny that black men get Like I get scrutiny from my mom and my dad for not talking to my sister, and I'm like, yo, listen, you don't understand what I did for this woman for her to even treat me like the way she did. And it was something very simple, but I put my foot down. I was like, yo, I'm not being nice anymore. I'm getting too old for this shit. And I haven't talked to my sister for like 3-4 years. Like I'm talking like real,
and that's your fault.
right. And it's my fault because I said, hey, listen, I'm not going to deal with your bullshit and I'm not going to deal with your controlling ways anymore. So you can go fuck yourself.
And the thing about it is, it's easy. They know it's easier to get you off that horse, or they feel it is, than it is to get her off that. You know, so this is. I mean,
well, they don't want to take her down off that horse, or if we put it into Manosphere talk, we don't want to take these. Some men don't want to take these women off that horse, or like, sorry, not Manosphere, but like outside of the Manosphere, the Sims. Yeah. They don't want to take these women off that horse, that pedestal, and put them in their place and ground them so they can understand, like, yo, listen, by you being on top of that horse, that building, that Eiffel Tower, you were closer to the sun, you were closer to the sky, and you could have gotten struck by lightning. By grounding you, I've actually fucking saved you, and I've put you in a place where you can see the world from a different perspective.
And that's everybody. That's not, because the first thing that Black feminists got rid of was shame, and shame is not an individual. It's not Black men's job to do this shit on our own. It's not. It's really not even Black. Like women, the women are supposed to really check the other women. Honestly, a lot of this shit, because they are supposed to do, and if we're supposed to reinforce that when it comes to the females, or at least we're supposed to check it, and then they reinforce us. It is not supposed to be you leave it to the dudes, and then you blame the dudes, interrupt the dudes. Shout out to Aisha A says, I've seen in real time women actually being elbow to elbow to the all check mark guys, and they won't say a word but go in on guys not being good enough. No, absolutely, because they know, because at that point that shit becomes real. And that's why a lot of these women, I make the argument that a lot of Black women avoid high value men, or they resent high value men if they got to deal with them in proximity in the workplace.
They know they can't talk to him any in any way. Just and like talk to that quote unquote white man that's giving them a check.
And like, that's where that fucking competing against Black men comes in, because they know what time it is, and are crying about the light skin shit. I'll tell you this though, on the call thing, like one of the things that I do now is I found quite a few YouTube channels. Like one dude is a real estate guy. And the thing that I like him, because his whole thing is built, it's called Zero to Diamond. His whole thing is built on calling, but he's in real estate. But the thing is, this is not a dude that's like, I mean, he's a good dude and he's a sales guy, but he's not the prototypical like charismatic dude. So you definitely feel like you could do it when the way he does it, but he does it. And so you can tell by repetition, he's better at it. But and then there's another guy that these dudes really would jump at you, is these are guys that do like wholesaling. And, they take calls live, and then sometimes they do it because I can tell you with that script, there's some better stuff you could have did with that initial script, because but obviously that's dead and gone. But Dennis Sperling is putting his I want to show this so people. This is what we're gonna end with, so people can get in their feelings. But anyway, you got any final words while I pull this up?
Yeah, just hold people accountable. Don't take female agency away from them. Allow them to have their agency. Allow them to have their independence. And a part of that independence is allowing them to suffer the consequences of that. And their actions.
And a number one goal I'm gonna say too, like as far as New Year's, and I'm gonna say this straight like this, and this is something I need to deal with too. At the end of the day, your life is your life. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, regardless of what you say. So yeah, from a collective standpoint, when it comes to Black male determinism, that's really what we're talking about. Honestly, I give a fuck about what women do. This gender war, what we're trying to, it's more about us establishing the right of Black male determinism. That's what we're talking about. If you notice, these women will go over the river and through the woods on YouTube to find Kevin's channel to basically or to say Kevin don't have a right to speak, because essentially that's what a lot of these women are saying. They want to call him abusive. They want to say he's back. Because bashing is another term for calling somebody abusive. They are losing their goddamn minds. You have Reddit, you have people, Richard Spencer out here, and they are losing their minds. Oh boy, they just cannot stand it. And they don't understand that they are low-key telling on themselves. Because all they're saying is this shit, this is telling. And now you can't say, oh, this shit is not pervasive. You can't just pretend like we're just making this shit up, like this isn't out here. And it's and they really they're essentially saying stop talking, I hate it. And the thing is, nobody's making these chicks watch. You got to really ask the question, why is it that you watch? That's what I want to know. Like, seriously, somebody needs to do a video, all these naysaying females, and ask, why is it that you watch? I want everybody that agrees and disagrees. Why is it that you call? Why is it that you watch? No, you notice how they're not really asking that question because they don't want the answers.
Because it's a threat to their echo chamber. It's a threat to their fortress. It's a threat. It's a threat to their bubble. And
Alan said he wants to be unblocked. Okay, let me see what's going on with that shit.
Yeah, and Kevin Samuels is a person that's there along with others that are like, and he's somewhat leading the charge. He's a newer general, if you will, and like he's leading the charge and he's popping it.
Yeah, and this is the result of Kevin putting together a Facebook channel, a Facebook page, and he is not a matchmaker. Just putting the shit in there, qualified. That's one thing his ass does do. And I'm not saying this because I know I've never tried to join his group, but I've been told he qualifies this shit. So the motherfuckers in there are motherfuckers that are certified. This is what Kevin does. Now, can you show me? Can the naysayers out there? Can they show this shit in reverse? Yeah, non-black man, black man. Hell, half of them can't even produce a result for their goddamn selves. That's why Paris was making it such a big deal when she got that Nigerian dude. Go ahead.
Look at what her fingers are doing. Look what her fingers are doing in that video. If you refresh it, or if it goes back to the beginning, look at what her fingers are doing.
Yeah, she did it again. It's repeating.
Look at the care. Like, look, like, even if it's fake, a dude will pay for that fake shit. Even if it's fucking fake. And again, yeah, that's not healthy. That's not good. But if this is genuine, she really loves him. She's really into him, blah, blah, blah. Like, dudes will pay for that because it's something of a meditation will calm your soul, but a woman will do so much for you as well.
Yeah.
And these are the things that men are lacking. When you got to deal with women that are like, they got resting bitch faces. Like, what if you had for instance, the one that was comparing herself from 20 to 30, but like, what if she just had a man and she was doing stuff like this?
Yeah, I see why he said, fuck it, I'm gonna make a goddamn testimonial and testify. He put it on his video as well as Kevin put it up there. And Kevin got the permission to do it. It was in his group. I'm sorry. Yeah, it ain't a whole bunch. I get that. It's like, what, 3 or 4 that he's saying in engagements? But this is verifiable shit. And this is a dude that he didn't ask to do this. He did this on his own. And you got to remember, like if you actually watch Dennis's videos, Dennis ain't going through some shit, but he's going through some shit. So the thing is, Dennis was cool. You know how black men his age get. They're like, man, I've done my shit. I got my kids. I'm living my life. And he was definitely in the DR taking that step, which most black men don't do. Like, he was good. So this is so obviously, but he was still open in the market. He was open to it, but it's going to have to be the right situation. And this is some shit that would trigger black women. This is some shit that would make black women angry watching this. Yeah. Like, a lot of these chicks, I'm like, why are you mad? They won't even know why they're mad. And it's funny because as a guy that's 5'5", I see these women and they just lose their fucking minds. And I'm like, God damn. Like, I was never like that. Like, I used to be like, I was 5'1" in high school. That's how short I was. And I'm still short. I'm the shortest. Both of my brothers, my younger brothers, one is 5 years younger, 10 years younger, are taller than me. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you, my dad's 6 foot. Mm-hmm. So all them niggas talking. So I got the reverse of that. But really my grandfather is short too. So that's probably where that really comes from. Yeah, go ahead, me blaming the black man. But my point is, you have heard me talk for years. You have never seen me, I talk about what black women do. You don't never be telling me, oh, all black women. I say, no, I talk about what they do. And then when me bringing up that Love Dorsey shit, which I didn't have to do, that right there should tell you a lot about me. Because anybody can say, oh, well, you deal with different kind of black women. I'm not talking, I say deal with, I don't say be fucked, but I interact with different kind of black women all the time. And women like that, I do interact with. And again, it's not, if they're talking like they got some sense, I don't have a problem. And if they talking kind of stupid, but I can understand where they're coming from, I generally don't have a problem. But it doesn't matter how that comes out. That should have told you a lot about me, anything, because a lot of the narrative is that the squares and the lames, they just can't deal with black women like Dorsey. And this doesn't mean that she's sexually attracted to dudes like that. What I'm saying is we're just afraid of them. We're socially awkward. We can't deal with them. But when you present that to these other dudes, these dudes on the one hand, they want to fuck these chicks. But on the other hand, they want to talk about how unfeminine they are.
Well,
Which,
No, I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
No, you good. I am finished. Sometimes I look for, when people start talking, I know I talk a lot, so I look, okay, that's the cutoff point. So go ahead.
No, but sometimes you'll say something, I'll be like, I want to put in something, but I'm like, he's actually got a good point. He's got a good flow going. Let me shut up. So, but in terms of like just immaturity, it's really just immaturity, and it's a point of and the reason why, okay, yeah, oh my God, another Love Dorsey reference. But the point that's being made here is that a lot of men won't chew the meat and spit out the bone. They won't take the message for what it is. They look at the messenger. They want to shoot the messenger, or the messenger has to look a certain way. The package has to have a bow on it for them to even open it. So even today, in Jamaican culture, we're not into the gay stuff, the Batiman thing, the fish thing. Like we're not really into that. But even today, I was watching a video, and the person was a transsexual, and they were given relationship advice, which is fucking weird to me. But at the same time, like the message of what the person was saying was valid. I most definitely got off of that fucking video afterwards and said, don't ever recommend this shit to me again. But you can hear it, and it's just like, oh, okay, I can understand the message. But some people will be like, oh, well, hey, listen, man, that's a tranny. I feel like my manhood's being tested. And a lot of people are like, yo, are you that maybe insecure, or you're that unsure of yourself in terms of where you can't listen to certain things coming from certain people? Like, what if somebody said, hey, listen, a person that you don't like says, hey, listen, I can help you make $1 million by tomorrow. I don't like the way you look, man. You're not clean shaven enough. Like this is the childlike thinking that we're talking about as adults.
As far as the black woman that called in the dentist's thing saying get with your age, that's somebody I would ask, that you're at war with biology. And this is why I talk about you're sexually politicking, because you call being pro-black all this sexual politics. Number one, that's some shit every race of woman has to deal with, and they got to deal with it a lot. Like white women are more in danger of being left over. So is Asian women than black women. Black women are least in danger of really being left over. Like the shit that black women got to do to really be left over out here is crazy. But my point is, a lot of and shout out to SWP. There's another nigga, and I'm gonna say it, he's absolutely fucking wrong on this. And oh man, these dudes shouldn't be dating. Like, nigga, why the fuck do you care? Number one, that shit is not that pervasive for you to have an opinion. Like when I look at Marcus Houston and who he dated, at the end of the day, a black man has to actually compete with younger men in the marketplace. So it's not like black men may have advantages of like money and status a little bit over younger dudes, but that's not an overwhelming advantage. It really isn't. So this idea that black men are just getting over, that's bullshit. And even if it wasn't bullshit, that like do you not understand how gynocentric that shit really is? Like, oh man, well, dudes shouldn't be just dating younger women. Fuck, like who the fuck is like first of all, you make it sound like the woman is being forced into that. And the second thing is, this is the type of shit that women will call, like you ask them why. They don't know why, because at the end of this is where the concept of being a leftover woman and all of this is why Obsidian was pissing him off so much when he was saying this. Like, I can keep it real. I could play a video like this and get flagged for just having this in the background. This is how much this shit would trigger some black women.
Right. Because what happens is it's a reality check for some women. It's a reality check because it's like, oh my God, this person is a younger person and they're getting the quote unquote high value man that should be mine. That's my prize. He should be mine. Like,
and to be fair, Tommy Lauren was on the same bullshit. And that's a white woman that supposedly got white privilege, and she has the attractiveness that like a basic white female, that like the basic archetype that a white dude would want. Yeah, but what it was is she got that feminism in her, and I'm gonna keep it real with Tommy Lauren. Tommy Lauren got the nigga tag too, because once she held hands with that black dude conservative, I saw that. You already know what the white boys that got money and come from money are gonna think. You know what time that is. So she has these little things where she allowed modern feminism to kind of fuck her up, that kind of rebellion. Because let me be very clear here. As a white woman, you know, that is one of the ultimate. Let me say this. I'm a black man. We already know what white supremacy is. But for white women have benefited, I would argue, more from white supremacy on the law of averages than white men. Now they complain about this little box that they got to be put in as a result of being at the top. But the truth is, you all enjoy a lot of privilege that comes from that. For Tommy, the ultimate, a lot of white men, and I say this as a black man, one of the ultimate disrespects that a white man can do, a white woman can do, especially one that's attractive, is get with a black dude in the eyes of a lot of white dudes, especially white dudes that got money. And white women know this more than I do. Remember that video that I think Mimi, she sent me with the white woman telling the black dude about it's not a bonus dating black men, and how she said it with kind of anger, like she's felt that kind of heat. You know, the reality is, for them to do it anyway, that's the ultimate sign of disrespect. That's the ultimate punk move. And the truth is, a lot of y'all don't really ever come back from that from a lot of white women. This is David Carroll said it. This is why a lot of white women, they go from city to city when they do that, and they try to pretend that shit didn't happen. This is why a lot of them will cry rape, because they try to get back that privilege that they lost. Because white men, a lot of them will hold the line on it, even with very good looking black like white women. The other thing too is, you know, when they start talking about the abortion piece, which is something, the only thing Tommy hasn't done is Tommy didn't get tattoos, because if she would have got a tat, she'd be fucked. When I say high value man, I'm talking about like the Donald Trump Juniors of the world, those dudes, the Jared Kushners of the world, those dudes that she's, or a lot of these dudes that she's around because of the nature of her doing media and stuff, that she's gotten a luck of, because she's a Nashville chick, so I'm sure she's been around high value men in Nashville. But when you look at nationally, because in every city, yeah, Nashville, was nationally, maybe not. She's had wider scope. So when you saw her complaining, by which Kevin covered, but you saw her complaining, she was saying a lot of the same stuff that a lot of black, you just don't hear them say it because they know there's kinetic consequences to what they do. And you saw how she walked that shit back. The dudes didn't have to make, like, it was a lot of black men making videos. It was some white man series. Those are not the ones that made her walk that shit back. It was the people that gave her that fucking phone call that made her walk that shit back. And she walked it back really quickly. You notice you don't never see black women walk shit like that back, because they ain't got no fear of that shit.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, a prime example of the person that dated black and is probably ostracized is something like a Iggy Azalea or something like that. And she's not getting that phone call. If anything, she's probably getting, "Oh, we told you so" type deal. And she's from Australia, where they have a different type of apartheid or race war type deal, and those motherfuckers are extreme too. Like,
well, yeah, and Iggy, the thing about Iggy is where Iggy fucked up. Iggy, she knew this, but Iggy Azalea is a perfect example of when corporate media remove. I mean, I'd argue Cardi B has a lot more organic reach. So technically, it's only so much you can remove. Cardi B is more akin to like a Sarah Palin, because people really fuck with her outside of corporate media. Corporate media amplifies it like times 10. But Iggy, nobody really fucked with Iggy like that. Iggy was complete corporate makeup, corporate like, and when they removed it, you see what happened. Just like what happened to a lot of these media types, these black media types, the all black media. The same thing with her, and then you saw where her value was. Iggy is not an ugly chick, but Iggy is put together. A lot of that is surgery. A lot of that ain't her, and quite frankly, her personality is trash as well. And the biggest mistake she ever could have made was she would have did better just getting a white dude. Like if you don't get bottom shelf, you should like for you to say I'm gonna take to go down, down, down and get like a Playboy Cardi type dude, which is not even considered like a prime rapper. He benefits a lot more than you do because him being with her ain't gonna stop him from doing what he's doing. And the sad part about it is, it's like, damn, Iggy, you should have just tried to get like with Timberland or try to get with Scott Storch or some shit.
Well, what,
like,
well, what happened with Iggy is that she essentially what that exposed is the cracks in her mentality, her cracked, fucked up mentality in the way that she thinks and everything else like that. And to address what Smurgo said, IR dating is very acceptable in Australia. That may be true. That's fine. IR dating is accepted in some of the most racist parts in America as well. But that doesn't mean that, the comment sections aren't different. That doesn't mean that there are those extremes. Because I've seen some people where they said, oh, they want to start a race war, especially when Jason Black released his film. Oh, they want to start a race war? Australia's got your back. And like you're hearing that from like people in Australia or saying they're from Australia. So like I understand, you're right. IR dating. I mean, there's a lot of interracial couples that I see here in my area of Georgia, the southeast portion of Georgia. But that doesn't mean that it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's accepted. All that means is that people don't say shit. That doesn't mean they don't.
Yeah, even Donovan Sharp ain't no. That's one thing I got respect for Donovan. Donovan ain't no fool when it comes to that shit. He talks about that shit and he does it, but he is not no fucking fool when it comes to it. He is very aware of shit, and he lets you know he's aware of shit. And a lot. That's why I always say, man, if y'all gonna be like that, he's a good example to follow because at least he gonna tell you be smart. Because a lot of y'all, and I'm not talking about this for Smurgo, I'm just saying a lot of black men like that, a Stephen Clark syndrome, where they like to pretend that the world is different. So you go in areas, especially areas like like Australia. Look, I've been to the Philippines. Australia is on the other side of the motherfucking planet. For you to go over there and like these like Europeans and these motherfuckers will be nice to your ass and then they'll gut you and you won't even know what happened. Like for real. They'll go Kano on your ass. And a lot of y'all don't understand. Shout out to Black Wolf with Super Chat. Happy New Year. A lot of y'all don't understand that a lot of these dudes will think you flexing on them by doing that. And it doesn't matter if you are or aren't. You may not be aware that that's what you're doing, but that's how they perceive it. And a lot of them will get your ass. And a lot of y'all will just be goofy the way you all can't see shit. I mean, shout out to Mr. Research. He talked about that shit when that dude got beat up and killed. And that was in Eastern Europe. So y'all got to be like smart about that shit. And this is one of the things I got to acknowledge Ramil, because Ramil used to, even though Ramil kind of takes it to the degree I don't take it, but Ramil always talks about that. And that is something that, although I don't take it as seriously as how he try to make it like it's just a guarantee. Don't be moving through here being slow. Aisa said people got to realize Tommy and Iggy has a full freezer full of dudes, so the whole ghosting and getting played doesn't hold. Yeah, well, the thing about it is you got to remember, yes, that's true. But we're talking. This is why I said Jared Kushner. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, my bad. I get what you're saying with the freezer. Absolutely. But what them dudes are complaining about, those women, is they're complaining about, like, for instance, she's talking about the Jared Kushner, Donald. She's talking about the top tier motherfuckers. See, that's who she's talking. Women always bitch about the dudes that they wanted, the alpha of alpha dudes they wanted, the top like 0.0001% of dudes they wanted. Where I believe Tommy Lauren had 6-figure dudes in a freezer. She's not looking for a 6-figure dude. She wants a 7. So her thing is going to be a little bit higher. And you notice when she said, I'm super educated, she tried to say super white. And then she didn't finish that. And then when she was talking about Tatiana, I'm going to tell you right now, she was talking about Latin chicks. I'm going to tell you right now, that's who she was talking about. Because those are the only people that can actually be a threat on that level. Like that's what she meant. The dude women that provide easy sexual access. Again, it's all sexual politicking. And a lot of these women will use things like being pro-black, pro-ADOS, pro-feminist as a measure of being of sexually politicking. This is why when homosexuality, what they say, we want to be equal, even though they really have extraordinary rights right now. They put these things called equality and things as a mechanism of being able to push their agenda without seeming like they're actually trying to push it at the expense of other people. So, and again, Kevin covered that. So this idea, when women talk about he's targeting black women, I just don't want to be abused. It's like, okay, if you believe Kevin abuses you, then bitch, you're stupid for calling. That means you like abuse. And that's what even them women that were naysayers, they said that shit. Go ahead.
That means you're also a fucking snowflake.
Yeah.
It's like some of the, like, he's really holding back in some cases. And you'll see him later on where he progressively just gets a little bit shorter tempered and saying, speed it up or, get to the point. But even the point you talked about with Tommy Lauren, like, she's a person that probably makes six figures, most likely, with all endorsements and other things. So she's not going to be looking for somebody at her level. Her level is like six figures, maybe mid six figures. So therefore, she would be looking for somebody that's going to be seven figures. Like, it's levels to the shit, different strokes for different folks.
I'm working on it now, Alan, because Alan's like, I'm sure he's waiting like this nigga. Because I got to go in the settings. So give me a second. I don't even know if I got you blocked because I didn't block you. You didn't do nothing. Because I remember when I block people, as soon as I hear the name, I remember why I block them. But yeah, I know we always say like I'm about to end this and turn around and be like another hour. But let me see.
I did want to put something out there because it's something I definitely wanted to do with you on your channel, is just talk about finance. But I recently just, again, this is not financial advice or anything like that, and this is just my opinion only. But I recently just got I use M1 Finance for my brokerage account, and I got their checking account, which is backed by an actual real physical bank, or sorry, Lincoln Savings and Loan, or Lincoln Savings Bank, and I already got 19 cents of interest. I got like $3,000 in the account. So I got like 19 cents of interest that actually showed up in the account, and I've had it for like maybe 2 weeks or so, or since mid last week. So that's pretty cool. And I'm only saying that because I'll probably get more next month, and they probably disperse their dividends, if you will, for their checking accounts at the end of the month. So that's something pretty cool in terms of, guys, if you're looking for something, look up M1 Finance.
I'm gonna unblock RBR. We'll see what entertaining bullshit he comes back with eventually. But yeah, man, I definitely want to get more in that conversation because that's why, like, and make sure you all go to my Classic Black Men. I need to start putting videos up there and stop bullshitting because Taz. Like, nigga, dude, I don't see you, Alan, Edward Anderson Jr. This dude, like, I'm flattered that somebody would think I'm so important to create memes. We'll unblock Jessica Light as well. She's been in timeout long enough. Oh, there you are. Okay, Alan. I don't know who blocked you. I don't know if that was just a Archer, because Archer be blocking people talking about by accident. I told him you got to watch that. So basically, I unblocked Jessica X. We'll see Jonathan Morgan because I don't know why I blocked him. Not Jessica X, Jessica Light. With her bullshit. RBR, Allen, and I know Marco was talking about that shit. So we'll see. D Chicago. I remember D Chicago. That shit was funny. And then Taz got like 5 different fucking names. These niggas that create all these, like, y'all need to stop, man. Ron Jeremy. Shit's goofy. Like, y'all are lame, man. Put something in the chat so I can make sure I give you a moderator as well. That I'm here. I know you don't, you kind of like Marcus. Y'all kind of like, I'm living life. Let's see. And then we about to hang this up. I'm gonna regret this tomorrow. I get up in a couple hours, but hopefully everybody's drunk, so ain't nobody calling my agents. Talking about, I blah 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 blah. Like, what the fuck you want, motherfucker? No, Taz is blocked. No, Taz will never be unblocked. No. That's no. I know I unblocked them. I did unblock Marcus. I don't remember that. I mean, it
But
takes a lot for me to block you. Like it really, like y'all, like motherfuckers be like wanting to say. I say, look, man, you keep doing this, I'm gonna have to block you. Well, nigga, do what you gotta do. Okay, click. 'Cause y'all really be, like for real. Y'all really be acting like,
motherfuckers is pressed.
yeah. Yeah. Type something in here, Grizzly, so I can make you a moderator.
I already am.
Oh, you are okay?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
unblock Jessica. No, Jessica, like she just don't get me started. Like tag, like nigga. I mean, like I said, it goes down in my super chat. I mean, my Telegram, but unfortunately, that's an exclusive club because this shit that I say that I could put myself vulnerable to. So I make sure I vet people before I go in there for real. But it goes down in there. Like I said, I am doing another Telegram, like one where I broadcast. I'm gonna do another group. Um, so I can bring more in because I'm telling you, Telegram is definitely the future. Because if we can get a big enough Telegram, because you can get up to 200,000 people in Telegram. If we can get like people to like crowdsource Telegram like that, I mean, number one, it's easy to do voicemails. It's easy to do a lot of good shit in there. But at the same time, like we can start pushing up a lot of these super chats, these not super chats, but these live viewerships, and these conversations are really good, and then get some really good promotion and viewership with SEO. And I have things, I have software in mind that can push up certain things. So yeah, Marco can let's see. That nigga Taz is annoying. He's still drinking the bath water for that woman. Yeah, man, he's another one that deals with Senji. Like seeing. Oh, so we call him the bitch a nickname now. This is what we're doing. Don't keep in mind that all her whole family's married to white people, by the way.
The synthetic one.
Yeah, I'm like, and I'm tired of dealing with these fucking niggas. It's like playing a video game. It's like this is Mass Effect. We going back to like Mass Effect 1 villains. Like, no, I don't play remastered games. We don't do that shit. We move on. This is not or like Dragon Ball Z. You go back to Frieza and shit. Like, no, this is over.
Yeah, that's I've talked about that before in terms of like just chopping it up with you. It's like the irrelevancy. Like sometimes the space will make irrelevant people relevant again.
Yeah, and these motherfuckers, I like once you fucking once you're doing a video in your car. Imagine if a black man was doing a video in his car talking about I need help. I need y'all to send me some money. That motherfucker would never be able to speak again. But with women, oh, she was just down. This is a chick that's supposed to be a business owner. And I laughed when you was talking about what you was talking about with like the chicks that be on the booths and be on the hustle. I told you it's easier to get them women to buy into that shit. And the truth is a lot of those women, if you give them something that they can do, they're less likely to be stupid about the phone because they have more tenacity. You just got to give them a system to work in. And if they see that there's results in it, they'll run into the wheels fall off. And that's why I say y'all niggas be like, oh well, you can't deal with women business. I'm like, bullshit.
Right. Yeah, the only thing I have, only hold up I have sometimes with helping women that I don't know. Like if I know you for a while and stuff like that, then there's that little bit of loyalty and stuff like that.
I'll help you help yourself.
Well, exactly. But it's like the problem is when they get on, then is that support structure there to support you, or is it are you going to forget about me and like things like that? Not on an ego tip, but just on a like, hey, listen, I'm trying to build a network here. If I'm trying to build a network with two people, then I expect, if I'm giving you quote unquote free service, free game, help, so on and so forth, I expect that to be returned.
Smart women never throw away dudes that have shown themselves to be valuable. They increase their Rolodex, and even Kim Kardashian, even if she's not dating you, she doesn't necessarily throw these dudes away. And the Kardashians at least don't. They're pretty good about that, although it may seem like it's that because she's trading up. But she wouldn't have never been able to go back to Kanye if she would have really disrespected. Well, this isn't a fresh cut. So she wouldn't have been able to circle back to Kanye if Kanye she would have really disrespected him like that, like really like embarrassed him, So that's how I know that. So smart women don't do that. A lot of these women, this is why when you hear the secure the bag language, this is why, this is another reason. It's not about sex. It's really too about, okay, you're one of these chicks that you like to use motherfuckers, but not use from a medium of exchange in the lifetime of a relationship standpoint. You're one of these motherfuckers. I'm not saying you got to cater to motherfuckers. Like you get to this level and you got to cater to them because like, oh, I got you there, so you owe me that. That's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, you know it's in your best interest because if shit ever falls down, you can always go back to these dudes. So it behooves you to actually keep that communication pipeline open and maintain that relationship to a certain extent. Dumb chicks don't see, game goofy chicks don't understand that because these hoes act like the wall never gonna happen and shit like that. So they assume that and this is why a lot of times when they come back to dudes and then now men are trash because dudes are not trying to deal with them because they reveal who they really are. And
yeah,
this
they're gonna find a new sucker to lick.
Yep. And I've heard, Naima say some shit like that. And some women can separate the suckers from the dudes they need to keep around. The question is, you got to be aware of what type you're in with a female. Now, here's another thing. This is a big thing that it's big. You said that because there's a lot of things these women say when it comes to the manosphere is they will dudes will use that as a way of you shouldn't promote any female because by you promoting women, they can always do that. So some women they don't need your promotion. They're going to grow irregardless of what you do. So irregardless, they're gonna grow. So it is what it is, or they're already where they need to be. And you have to look at, okay, what is the value I'm getting? So for instance, Love Dorsey getting a value of somebody that's basically keeping it 100. Now I don't control what she says. She said, the video you sent to me. She said if a woman isn't submitting, if you're not submitting to a woman, if a woman is not submitting to a dude, she don't need to be with that dude. But she's also said that a woman doesn't owe you submission. Meaning, if you're not doing what you need to do, and you're finding you can't get any woman to submit to you, then you need to look at that as a sign. But I don't disagree with that. My point is, you don't know what she's gonna do, but there's value you can pull from that. You have to be Machiavellian like it. Same thing with Jessica X. Like Jessica X could blow up and then turn around. That's always a possibility. But you look at what is the value can I get out of that relationship now? Not trying to only use, but I know I'm giving value. How do I make this work for me now and not have this really have this expectation, especially if you're coming up? It depends. It depends because there's certain things that you don't give unless you're very sure. Like there's certain proprietary information you don't give unless you're very sure that that's gonna be a long-term relationship as far as back and forth. And this is why you always see that I'm kind of like arm's length when it comes to certain stuff. Like it's only so much I promote some people, and I make sure what am I getting out of doing this right now? I mean, what is the group getting, and is this worth what am I giving more than what that is? Me sharing people and sharing what they say. Even Rebecca Lynn Pope, that video did not blow up because the Manosphere. That video blew up, but the Manosphere wasn't the main reason it blew up. It was always a big part of it. But at the end of the day, that video is still there. So she can say what the fuck she want to say now. We can always go back and say she's a hypocrite because she didn't say this then. And as long as she's got that video up, it is what it is. Like this kind of fear that people have online that people will blow up and then turn on you. Like a lot of that is being traumatizing. You just got to take shit for what it is.
Yeah, it's valid. It's valid to a certain point, but yeah, I understand. Like you can't let that block somebody else that might be helpful. So the way I would characterize or analogize, is that a word? It is now. But the way I would turn what you said into a bit of analogy and make it more concise is investment versus day trading. So if you got a woman that you're dealing with, are you investing with her or are you going to be trading her out as soon as you get something of higher value or you extract whatever value you want? Or if she gets too low on value, you dump her and get rid of it and cut your losses, things like that. Like if you want to put it in financial terms, but if it's a woman that you're investing in, like even I was talking to my homegirl today and we were just bullshitting. She was like, hey, I'm gonna just come and I'll take care of you, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then I automatically, well, then, we got to find a school for her son. And then she was like, oh, gonna like the fact that I already thought on that level, I was thinking like that. And I wasn't totally serious, but at the same time, like you know, that was one of the first things you think about in terms of making an investment in a person, more so, or before you look at doing a day trade with a person. Like, okay, as soon as that person loses their value or their luster or their looks, then you get rid of them. And the problem is a lot of women don't find the value in the men that are investing in them versus the men that would trade them out
Yeah.
at the drop of a hat.
Another thing too is you got to think about it dealing with females asexually as well. Because if I'm talking about, because I'm gonna keep it real with you, just because I'm fucking a chick don't mean I give her jack shit when it comes to shit like that.
Right.
Because if you're dealing, and this is where I was getting so annoyed about like what Platinum was doing, because I was like, you got to take sex out of it, because every bitch you're not gonna fuck.
Yep.
And so a lot of dudes, and I'm gonna keep it real, for dudes that are game goofy, y'all look at a woman from a sexual being, so you look at her to validate you. See, I learned that quick as being short. I'm not gonna not deal with a female because a female may look at me a certain type of way because I'm short, but when it comes to outside of sex, because guess what? A beautiful woman, let's say she's not gonna deal with me because I'm short. At the end of the day, she has value because I know how she can affect other men.
Right.
So, like, if you look at the business that I deal with, stuff that I do, I can say, okay, I deal with her. I can get the value. She's getting paid doing what I'm doing, but I can get her to deal with this. And it doesn't matter because you being around, because there's a thing, you being, even a dude being in proximity of attractive women that they're not fucking, people will see that and give value to that. Like if I show a picture, and I'm constantly around beautiful women, and these women, let's say I'm in the friend zone, but at least I'm in the friend zone enough to where they're willing to put their hand around me or something like that, even if it's on some little brother shit. People don't know that necessarily unless they know how to look at body language. And even still, that's, if women are tipsy and stuff like that, they don't know that by looking at the picture. They're just gonna see I'm a social person. And a lot of these niggas be doing it. They're not gonna know if I'm fucking or not fucking. And so so there's a value that's given to that off gates, because you see, okay, this dude is with women, blase, blase, blah. This is a social person. And then if you ask him, oh no, he's like a brother to me, but there's value there, in at least from a social media and a social standpoint, even if it's not social media, because dudes will see that, and then they will perceive you a certain type of way, especially if it's like they see it like more than one or two, a situation like that. Because by definition, they see you out, and this is the nonverbal cues that a lot of people don't understand. So
having that sexy ugly chick, that bitch is ugly as fuck, but it's sexy what she can do for you.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. You see dudes with ugly chicks too, and so a lot of people don't think about, a lot of dudes don't think about that because they're looking around trying to get validated by women. And it's the same thing when you go overseas. So the point is, like, when it comes to business and stuff like that, and like I said, just because you in a gynocracy, we're not going to flip it. You need to learn how to use it to your advantage. It's kind of like being a double agent. You have to learn how to navigate through stuff. Now, I'm not saying you need to tell motherfuckers what they want to hear and be lying and stuff and doing the Derek Jackson or all this other shit. But what I am saying is you got to be able to get what you need to get out of the system that you're in. And I mean, and so part of what I do is saying that you're aware of it. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. One of the things that Kevin was asked with that chick that was just act like she just on some precious bullshit is what is your intention? What is your intention? And it's funny because she said that she had a stepfather that was the disciplinarian. If that's to be true.
Yeah, and then you heard how quiet she got too.
Yeah, what is your intention?
My stepfather.
I'm like, what is your intention? Like, what the fuck kind of question is that? What is your intention? What is your like, are you fucking serious? And it's funny because you never hear black women communicate this way to white men and non-black men, even though slavery happened. And it's like, what is your intention? And then he was like, this is a man's channel first. And I told, what have I been saying? I've been saying that shit is a show. That is not representative of what his channel is really about. That is a show that is designed that he wants it to pretty much bring women into a life. For the way Kevin says it, the show is really as a platform for him to basically communicate with women directly and then expose what black women don't know about what black men want, and to basically say this is what black men want. This is the alignment. Go
I
ahead.
definitely think he would parlay it into matchmaking,
Yeah.
like a matchmaking business, to where eventually some of these women that do pass that test, that do take the correction, that do go through therapy, that do take the corrective steps to change their behavior, attitude, outlook, perception on the world, and how they are viewed. Then it's like, okay, now you are ready for the six figure.
Well,
Like,
yeah, and it's also a way of him showing how he even consults. That's another thing too. So you get literally a free idea of what you're paying for, which is
right.
another thing to know. So nobody can say, well, when I say nobody, I'm like, women can't say, blah, 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 blah. And this Love Dorsey does. I know, oh, y'all keep on missing. Shut up, man. It is what it. That's what I do. But
Fuck my
you're
baby.
getting the same thing with, and the more people that dudes, every dude is watch any of her videos, because I don't give people a specific video, they have come back with positive feedback. So
Right.
my thing is, you same thing with her. You get an idea of how her mind works, so you get this a good fit. So you can't be like, oh, I cash after you money, I don't like what you said, because you know what you're getting based on the conversation. That's another part about why these people do that. So there's a couple of things, and like I said, I'm not him. I'm just saying this is what I see based on what I think it is, but that's my opinion. But yeah, man, that's the intention. And the thing is, like, this, it's insane, because when you look at this shit, I'm curious when you like, and it's always interesting when you hear like non-ADOS women try to communicate about this, because they're not in the community like that. They're trying to look at this they're trying to make up reasons why this would be the case. And some of them are doing that. Some of them are straight up saying, like, oh, well, he's right. And some of them, to try to, pander a little bit, they try to make up reasons, and they're having a hard time, because they're having a hard time even really comprehending what's going on, because they're assuming certain things that is just not there, and they're saying they have to be there, because I couldn't imagine that they would not be there.
Yeah, it's quote unquote their reality is being challenged. It's like Kevin has the reality stone and he's like snapping his finger, like he's changing their reality. Like he's like, oh wow, like they're viewing something that they never had to view or they never wanted to view, and that's kind of where you see the delusion. That's where you see the bubble being popped, and that's where you're seeing where these chicks are trying to defend it in so many ways, like you know defending the innocent stereotype or the innocent archetype of a woman. Like what's it called? I always call her Olivia Pope, but whatever her name is, whatever Pope.
Rebecca Lynn Pope.
Yeah, Rebecca Lynn Pope. She's like, I was worried about this poor girl, and then like she had to change it, because it's like, that's not a girl. No, that's not a girl. Her son is young, her child is young, but she's not a girl. And that's a little bit what women have to deal with now, is that, they have to come to terms with, I'm not young, and I can't, I can't my shield of innocence is being, or my fortress of innocence is being challenged, or there's enemies at the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Rebecca wouldn't have responded if I would have made her watch a Love Dorsey video. She wouldn't have responded in that way. So it's not really what the words are being said.
Yeah,
It's
she
really not.
want to
Just
cry
like
like
because
that.
they
She
want,
was like,
they want to talk
I
about the
wouldn't
German
have said it
Shepherd
like
shit too.
that. Yeah, she was like, I wouldn't have said it like that, but
Yeah.
has a point.
And it's the same thing with the German Shepherd shit that her husband is in here talking about. Now women are German Shepherds. Women are your mom. Women are your sister. I'm like, nigga, like that shit is pre 2010. Like that shit is like low key pre 2000. Talk about your mama black. Like, come on, man, do better than that. I mean, you could have a conversation with Dr. Tia Johnson, Dr. Tommy Curry,
But
Kevin directly. You could have this conversation.
but
Like, if you really want to stand on something, and then Dennis got in his ass. Go ahead.
they can't do better than that, simply because they've never been challenged to do better than that. And I think you had said this before. They've never been challenged to do better than that. But we as men, especially in the Black Manosphere and the Manosphere in general, we've been challenged to do that. We've been challenged to come up with more arguments. We've been challenged to do the research. Dr. Tia Johnson, It was called the G with a PhD, the Green Gorilla. Like we've been challenged to do all these things because, simply put, no one wanted to listen to us. They said, "Oh, just go read about it." Where these women, they didn't have to do that reading; they could just feel their way through it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, and this is again why you should subscribe to Dennis, because guess what? Dennis, you can't, like, Dennis gets like 50 because he'll get 100. He's gonna get there. It's gonna happen. Like me personally, I'm like, dude, you asking for super chats, or cash out, you just be telling motherfuckers to share. Because the thing about Dennis is content is very share friendly. You can share his shit on Facebook and probably not worry about it getting blocked. So his stuff can really fly out there, to be honest with you. And the thing about it is, Dennis got in Carrie Pope's ass, and what would Carrie say, especially with what I showed you with the woman he's with? You see what I'm saying? What would he say? You know what I'm saying? Other than be like, what these dudes like, and Carrie Pope keeps coming back to hurt people.
Yeah,
So
the man of God.
Well, I'm like, you don't have a problem with hurting people as long as it's black women throwing black men under the bus. And another thing, I've been saying that what black women do actually has a direct impact on young black boys as far as their life being threatened. And nobody ever gave a fuck about that. Ever. So for you to then think you doing some shit, like, and not even acknowledge that and address that, but you supposed to be a leader by being in the church. I mean, shit, even Rebecca has said that black men are not. This is one thing everybody agrees with. Black men are not in the church. Okay, whose fault is that? The pastors are running the damn churches. So if the butts got to stop with some, it ain't the all congregation's fault. That's the one thing I'm not gonna put on black women. That's who runs the church. Well, we know women is the congregation, but you get what I'm saying. Who's the administrator of the church? It is the pastor. That is on y'all, and they just ignore that because they made a conscious choice of going for the money. And what happens? It's easier to get money out of the women than it is getting it out of the men. So by you removing the men from the church, or that won't say they removed it, but they allowed it to happen. What happens? They basically got an easy in route to the money. That is that process. And maybe he is an arbiter of the prosperity gospel. I don't know. But that even Myron Golden, y'all should all listen to Myron Golden as well. As far as business Christianity, he's really good. Prosperity gospel. He's not like that prosperity gospel bullshit. And a lot of y'all them cater to that for money in their own pockets. Let me tell you something. And I'm gonna say I've been saying I'm done, and I know I'm lying, but I do need to go. This needs to be a thing. I'm not against the black church. I'm not really pro Hotep against the black church. But let me be very clear. There is no entity that's vacuum more money from the black community other than like corporations that's internal to the black community, the black fucking church. Like black people, like honestly, shout out to Kevin Crosby because he's one of the good ones. But for black men in their pastors, and by the way, my like traffic lawyer is a pastor. So, and he has gotten me out of some shit. And he has a real job. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. If your pastors have a real fucking job and being a pastor is something they do, yeah, those are the ones you trust. The ones that all they do is pastor, you need to side eye them motherfuckers. Just saying.
I personally, if I was to run any type of congregation or be a pastor or leader of a church, I'd run it something like Pastor Dowell.
I'm not saying they're all bad, but the ones that all they do is that, I side eye them until they prove to me otherwise.
Yeah, and a lot of them haven't proved themselves. They haven't been told to.
You running a hustle.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, like, it's y'all fault. And the women know that. The women don't never, you notice how the women never hold, as much as black women love holding black men accountable, you never hear black women hold black pastors accountable to that shit because they're in on it. The pastors are worshipped as the false idol in many of these churches. I'm not saying that's how Carrie Pope runs this church. I don't think that is his situation, but they are worshipped as a false idol. And as him being a part of that, you have to look at that collectively. Yes, it's individuals, but you gotta understand what that collective image and reputation is. It is tax free. You're absolutely right. But my thing is for him to sit there and stand on that high horse and then try to talk down to us. You being a pastor doesn't give you jack shit to talk down to us too. It really doesn't. And that's what Dennis was saying. He was saying the reason you all didn't step up and tell the truth. So now they're doing it on their own. And Jason, what did Jason Black say? Don't trust these old niggas. And I gotta say it. I'm not saying that I'm wrong saying, Rebecca ain't shit, but I not tell you all that Jason Black said somebody mentioned Rebecca Lynn Pope, and he basically said without hesitation, she is garbage. And I was like, damn, Jason, like, really? And this is actually one of the things that kind of like, because at the time he was talking shit about, Jason is never directly, the closest he's ever correctly gone after us is basically Kevin. And even Kevin, he kind of like, he didn't go do it like Greg Adams. He basically took off he basically went full Black Ayatollah with Greg Adams and Donovan. But Donovan, it kind of low-key disavowed the sphere. So it was like, I fuck with Donovan, but Donovan he'll be all right. He got them white boys. And then Greg Adams, I don't know him, so I don't care. And then Kevin, he kind of kudos to him about his presentation, but then try to play the everything comes from him game. And I'm like, okay, man. And then the Rebecca thing, because this is what he made like 3 or 4 videos. Like, I don't know what, I've never seen Jason make videos back to back to back like that. 4 times like in one day. I've never seen that. And so I'm gonna assume he had a moment, but he still low-key throws shots.
On the wave. He was trying to jump on the wave, just like you and just like other people. Like,
and the sad thing is, Jason is like, here's the thing. Jason is well positioned. This is what kills me about this shit. Kevin is for Black men getting married. That is what he is for. And he has been married twice. So my point is, Jason ain't been married once. And I believe that's by choice. And I believe that Jason has not decided to deal with the women it's presented because, he went through some shit with his original business that he alludes to that has to do with a woman. So I'm going to assume that's really where that comes from. I believe that because once your money's been fucked up and you've built it back, I can only assume that you're going to be more protective of it. And I've seen this dude raise $250,000 and nobody, I ain't gonna say nobody knows what he looked like, but only like 0.001% have seen him as far as people that directly work with him. So you can't deny that. So I'm not judging that. But when he want to talk all this shit about MGTOW shit like that, it's like, dude, you kind of low key living that lifestyle. But whatever. My point is,
action speaks louder than words.
Kevin, yeah, exactly. It's like, you're not gonna tell me not to pick fruit that you keep putting back. But whatever. At the end of the day, it's funny because when you look at Kevin is doing a lot of stuff that he doesn't want to do because Jason is a private person. And I respect that because I'm a private person, but he's for Black marriage. So I don't get, and he's mainly for Black people. Although he's not going to tell these dudes not to date out at all. If that's just what it is, that's what it is. It's up to Black women to earn it. So I've never understood why he went out of his way to do that. Because a lot of people that listen to Jason are listening to Sphere anyway, and that would have did nothing but get him more subscribers. And hell, if they want to get a second opinion by calling Jason has a different way of going about it. I just never understood that. Oh, anyway, shout out to CJ Banks. This is the real church here in the Manosphere. I appreciate that. Shout out to Jap, who's got the brand when it comes to the church. I just thought that was unnecessary. And when you look at things from a Machiavellian standpoint or 48 Laws of Power, that's unnecessary. That's on some crabs in a barrel bullshit. And I thought we'd be beyond that. Like Dr. Claude Anderson has seen his life's work, Jason Boyce Tariq, and you don't see him act like that. He cares about his message going out there. Go ahead.
My personal opinion on what Jason Black is doing is it's his way of keeping possibly the Black community together and, in reinforcing or trying to, I guess, put together, to make sure that Black relationships happen. Because MGTOW, SYSBM, especially all these different things, what they do is that they detract from or they stop people from actually marrying, one another. Like they stop Black people from marrying other. Oh, it's the mic.
For all these niggas that act like I don't got no Mac, I still need to get that printer cable and get that little arm thing. But whatever. For these niggas that want to talk about I ain't got a mic, it ain't that I ain't got it. I'm lazy. I got this from the pawn shop too, by the way. Well, no, but the thing is, man, Kevin doesn't really promote black men dating out though. He doesn't like get disrupted, but
what he's like, what Jason, I'm talking towards what Jason Black does. He discredits movements like MGTOW, SYSBM, because what they do is they do separate, or they do reinforce the thought of, or promote, I should say, the thought of marrying out of your race.
That I understand, but Kevin's not SYSBM. I understand that. Kevin's not SYSBM, Kevin's not MGTOW. And that made sense as to why he went after Greg Adams, and he really went after them because they have a primarily white audience. But
I called into that show on that because I was just like, you're taking an extreme. Like towards the end of that show, I was like, you're taking an extreme on.
You a better man than me, because you know how Jason Black's people can be. I'm in the groups.
Oh yeah, like I know I was in the chat section, and they were flaming me and saying all types of shit, and I'm like, bro, I own a house on 18 acres. Fuck y'all. Like that's how I'm.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I was because I remember because the chat was flying, and I'm like, you motherfuckers. And the thing about it is, I know the people, John, like doing Reed, Jay, all them. It's like y'all really think y'all the only black people that know some shit. Like y'all really believe that. And the thing about it is, I would like come off. Why don't y'all come off y'all take Jason off the table? Because you know what? Shout out to Nicole's views, very cool. Shout out to Tareen Rain, who's in this space. So he know. And Jason's and Professor Black Truth have both validated Tareen. A lot of these guys are in they know they know the differences. They know what we're talking about. And everybody ain't SYSBM. Most black dudes in the manosphere are fucking black women, got black kids, or married to black women. SYSBM is a faction, but it is not the majority. Now it's getting bigger, but it's not the majority. And this thing about it, but even all of that, I get that. All of it. That still doesn't excuse what he did with Kevin, because Kevin is about in alignment with a lot of stuff he's talking about. And at that point, I'm not trying to make this about Jason, because I like a lot of. I promoted Jason here. I was telling y'all up until recently, deal with the business, and it's still a great thing. But that's some shit. Like if you're really got to take it to that level, man, it can't be. Come on, man. Like for real. Cause like it's then and then like you give Roland Martin an end to basically then validate Kevin, and then you're gonna be mad when you could have took his ability, Roland's ability to even do that. Like that's stupid. And it's the same thing with Corey Holcomb. When Corey was like, man, is he gay? And Corey can say he's joking all day, and I get he's a comedian. But at the end of the day, Kevin is passing what you do now. Because it's 8,000. It's like, dude, y'all got to stop doing that. And you know what? Shout out to Zoe Williams. I got to give Zoe credit. He went on Art Nostal's thing and did an interview. I'm going to start sharing that, and I think I'm going to break that down. I haven't seen the interview, but I'm going to promote that because I've always liked Zoe. Zoe sometimes can, he caters to the women a little bit too much, but he ain't Derek Jackson with it. Somebody's going to do it. And I'd rather it be done like Zoe does it than like what Derek Jackson does it. Because at least Zoe will ask the motherfucking hard questions. And I'll give Corey Holcomb credit too for calling out Veronica Conway, because she's been on some anti-black male shit ever since that metaphysical motherfucker dismissed her ass. It's amazing how these women how they love black men until their relationships don't work out. Then black men, yeah, he do sneak diss the manosphere, but Jason Black sneak disses light-skinned dudes too. So, part of being a man is tolerating some of that shit for the greater good. And I think Jason Black does do a much greater good than that. So I like that shit. See, you notice how that shit doesn't bother me to the point where, and I'm very proud of the Manosphere for not really responding to that shit. Because I think they were looking for us to do that. And it showed discipline. And if we can exercise that discipline more, just like how the next time these females try to block us or something, and that's I shouldn't even say this on air, but this stream has been long enough to where this will probably fall in the back. The truth is, what these women have not learned, that the worst thing you can do is come at us like this. We got like you talk about Red Supreme's channel or a couple of these other channels that are like under like 2,000 or 3,000. Do you not understand that we can easily build these channels back up very quickly? People will subscribe to it just off the strength of fuck a bitch taking it out. I'm gonna subscribe on GP, and then you got Cash App that you can use in order for people to be getting super chats while they wait for YouTube to do what they do. This idea that you actually are stopping something by doing that is not. I remember when they knocked out Donovan Sharp's channel. Look at where Donovan Sharp is a year later, and in the O'Shea. And this is the thing is you will actually unite people that don't fuck with each other doing that. You actually will, because here's the thing: we just got done talking about Jason Black. We know, and I didn't say nothing bad. I just called it what it was. I thought that just didn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's just a critique, and even with that, I still believe in his message. I still believe in one, so on and so forth.
No, I don't think he's mad. Jason Black's not jealous. Jason Black's worth $250,000. He ain't just, because if that was the case, then you see that more. So I'm not even gonna say that. But what I'm saying,
it's an angle to it, or not an angle, not just an angle to it, but there's a purpose behind it. And I can only have my opinion on it, but it is what it is on that,
Yeah, so shout out to Roger Report for $5. He just walked to the crib, so all this good stuff. Absolutely, and y'all should catch this replay because it's a good replay. This is basically turned into an interview. Young Grizzly is one of the older heads from the early 2.0 days from the Coliseum with PGS. So a lot of these Young Grizzly would have more subscribers than me if he was on here before. So a lot of these new motherfuckers, Stream Team motherfuckers, he's one of them LAR level type shit. So yeah, but the thing about it is when you look at Kevin was nice to Crystal, and Crystal did what she did, and then when she called Jason, so Tiny TK are all them chicks. See, these chicks will unite. He don't have to fuck with us to give his own angle. So the thing about it, the Manosphere, this is why everybody keeps thinking this is like this hive mind where we all are on the same page. We're not. But what you will do is you'll take niggas like Super Sly. You'll take a lot of different vectors of dudes that will unite just for dealing with you all. And the problem is, and the thing is, a lot of these dudes got more women listening to them than you think. Jason Black has a lot of women that listen to him. And he says the same stuff. Like when I say he says the same stuff as Kevin, is when these women call, he's giving the same answers. Go look at his business video and look at that video that he put up a while with the 14-minute one with the woman that talks about she's a LA8. So my thing is, it may be said in a different way, but it's the same shit. And Jason just does it the long way, so he doesn't seem like he's being confrontational unless the woman starts to wild out. But
he knows his audience. He knows the makeup of his audience. Like,
well, that, and it's a different type of teaching moment as well. Because I've seen Jason go off. He can go off on women if women get real stupid. You saw what he did with Karazin. He called Karazin, I say her name again and get flagged, but whatever, and so. Yeah, so the point is, and make no mistake, people could easily go to his Patreon and get these videos and promote these receipts. So my point is, a lot of these channels are bigger than they once were too. So you playing with people, you playing like, and you all will unite the sphere in a way. And it's like, wow, like you all are that fucking stupid.
Yeah, that list that they had before, what they did to Obsidian, what they did to like O'Shea and other people, or like that threat of a list of being flagged down, things like that, and how O'Shea now, like he already went through that in a sense, and he's like, yo, do it, try me. Like a lot of the, and then Kevin even said it, like, listen, send me that message, send me the information, and I'll get my legal team on it. And like, we've had dealing with motherfuckers that got money, and now you're dealing with people that have already invested, like O'Shea has done masterfully, and now he's actually reaping the rewards and benefits of that.
And not only that, you got people like Roger. Shout out to Roger, and you got like O'Shea too, because we've had behind the scenes discussions about some of the direction O'Shea's taking as far as because some people feel a certain type of way about doing the gossip stuff, which I like. I told O'Shea he should have been doing it. And to be fair, I've been told that O'Shea didn't really want to do that like that, but he decided to. And it's good. I like it. I'd rather listen to it from him than from another chick give him the views. Shout out to him and Jada Black. You got, but my thing is when you look at the pro and look, I keep saying this. O'Shea, early in his channel, he told the white boys, I'm not doing the Negro porn for you, mother. So he did that way before. It's just in his economics and what the position he is now has allowed him to really kind of move in the direction of the pro-black direction. But he always like that. It's not like he's dropped off his conservative views or anything. He's just highlighted. It's like Kevin. He built his channel. It was on perfume, then style, then fashion. And this is another vector. With relationship, it's the same thing with him. So I'm not saying he's switching up, but my point is where he's positioned now, it makes it so much harder to throw that attack at somebody like him. Same thing with Angry Man. Angry Man believes in long-term relationships. He may not necessarily think that needs to be called marriage. He talk more about cohabitation. But the reality of the situation is a lot of the bigger, same thing with Obsidian, how Obsidian has like positioned himself as like an anti-dating coach as far as wanting the conversation, even though he's antagonizing these women again. Because remember, I told you that list came from Obsidian doing the shit he doing. And I don't disagree with what he's doing, but I'm just saying it. My point is, these guys are way more positioned, way more bigger, and we're a lot bigger than even what our channels would say. And you got new people that they want that smoke. They do. And you got like, and you got bigger, and you got a lot. We got a much more bigger pool. You can look at Kevin's people like Ike, even people like MOT and all them. We got a much bigger investment pool than what we had before. Because see, before motherfuckers want to get super chats like that. So for you all to get in your emotions and see the biggest thing that kills me about this.
$500 super chat tonight, Kevin. That is.
You got what?
He got a 500, not to watch his pockets, but it was just like, holy crap.
No, oh, that's nothing new. It's just like, no, he gets that like 3 times, and usually that's Ike. He gets that like 3 times. He gets that like twice in the show, like 3 times in the show. Like that's actually nothing new. The hundreds, yeah. So, and I ain't trying. I mean, you can see it. I wouldn't say that about smaller YouTuber because I ain't trying to watch their pockets. But I mean, this shit is so noticeable. You might as well. I mean, shit, go to. It's all day in the video, so you can't not see it. But my thing is. And you got, again, I don't know. I think Dennis is an injury lawyer, but lawyers know other lawyers. So weird. Like, are you fucking serious? And my thing is, you're gonna infuse the new with the old. Like, are you serious? Like, that is the worst thing you could do is do that bullshit. Like, for real. Like, and I'm I'm like, and again, what kills me about Miss KK is like, you go. And then you get on Kevin's show after watching it for 3 weeks, which is a receipt that Kevin can always pull out there because that's on his show. You can't take something down that you called in knowingly so that's on his show. He could easily put that video up there, and then if you really want to play games, probably get that shit on World Star. Just to like the Rochelle, the light skinned chick. But she actually looks like Lydia Cotton. That's what makes it so funny, that Rochelle chick. But
I love what he did to her. That was like so masterful. And I remember when that whole Clubhouse thing came out, like I watched that so many times because it was just like what most black men want to do to some of these women nowadays, and that they almost can't because these women always kind of find a way to like, she can't bust your top.
The position is never the best to do that.
You can't bust the windows out my car. You can't come down to my job. You can't do all this shit. Click. That's it.
And here's the irony of that. The irony is she said that you didn't have to keep talking. I'm in TV too, Kevin. I'm in TV too, Kevin. And it's that same Cynthia G. Sounder bullshit. And she's like, you could have just hung up on her. And he took the correction and he executed that on her.
It's like, good point.
Because the thing about it is he didn't hang up on her immediately, and then she came back, and then she started coming back like with the Rambo guns blazing. Right. And I love it. He calls it gut you get you told. But at the end of the day, you do that, and then you turn around and you call. Like, what prompted you? Because Jason wasn't talking about her. What prompted you to call? He was talking about, I think, something that had to do with swirling. And yet he called. And keep in mind, Christy used to be against swirling. Christy used to be like, swirlers lie. And then I guess her anger towards black men got to the point where she just had to. A lot of these women talk about swirling because they think it hurts black men. And the truth is it doesn't, but they get to believe it does. Anyway, Kara's called Jason and you know how Jason feels about you, but you sit and you did what you did. Don't act like he didn't see that yet. What did you expect? And so the thing is, she's year before that she was in O'Shea's chat section, so she comes around us. Content creators ain't really over there, not where she's at.
Right.
And dude, and don't get me started. I gotta go to my old channel. Don't get me started when Mimi sent that thing and she this like Arab dude, this Arab Emirates Dubai dude, when it came to that little Snapchat thing. And it's like, do you not recognize, what you're sending me? You're sending me a whole bunch of black women is gawking over some Arab dude that I don't even know is straight. And he's doing video. He's gotten 57 million views off black women gawking over him on some gossip shit. And he probably don't even deal with y'all like that, but that's what you send me. Now she was Caribbean, by the way, so he was pulling some international shit, so that was more some international thing, but this is global, and it's anyway, yeah, I remember Sophia Nelson, but the point is, you have like she's over here, and then these women want to talk about being obsessed and all of that. It's like, come on, man. But anyway, get your final word, and then we go head this out.
Yeah, to your point though, Ed, like, they're gawking over the original Prison Bay. Now there's the new Prison Bay where they're sending this dude cash apps. You mean to tell me you're sending a dude that got a couple abs, so on and so forth, and it's like you sending a dude that's locked up and he's getting cash,
and they're brazen about it. But I'm wrong for talking about the gynocracy, right?
Yeah, and they don't care. It's just and it's just that out there, and like, you know what? Just like you said before, they have no consequences to suffer, so therefore they can do it. It doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, there's no shame. There's no shame. And it's like, you don't understand how this is a bad look. Like, y'all the only group that would be seen doing that shit to that level. If a white woman did that, it's awesome. But y'all don't fetishize black men, right? That's what the white woman does. I would argue black
men, just like you're being supposedly subjectively or supposedly sexually objectified.
The biggest promoter of black female fuckery is black women. If it wasn't for black women and their fuckery, them being brazen about it, and this is another thing that none of them females mentioned. It's funny how they had so much to say about Kevin, yet they had nothing to say about how that True restaurant, how black women made them look bad. They never have anything to say about what Cardi B does, but they have so much to say about Kevin. And I'm like, you know what? Kevin,
it wasn't even this crazy during the Girls Gone Wild phase. Again, the internet was at a different point, in terms of its evolution. But now it's like, everything is a whole season. Like, you've been on a whole season for your whole
girl summer, life. Hot girl year round. Yo,
there's no summer.
Do you know who is the GOAT for promoting female fuckery?
Nah.
It's a Jewish man by the name of Maury Povich.
Oh,
have you ever heard? Have you ever
back in the day?
Have you ever heard black women mention Maury Povich as promoting? And that's on daytime TV that white people and everybody gets to see. And that shit has been on there for what, like 20 years.
They should be suing black women at some point. I wouldn't doubt, maybe the Zillennials will go back and do it. And they should sue for damages, defamation of character.
I don't know what fucking business Ike has, but you would think it would be a recurring. Yeah. Well, Jerry Springer, but Jerry Springer did a lot of different shit. Versus Maury Povich got to the point where he said, "This is the only thing we're fucking doing."
Yep.
You're not, and he throw a white person in there every once in a while or a young person in there, but it was always black, and it's always the same setup. You bring the black man in. You boo the black man. Everybody boos him. Boo, boo, boo. He ain't shit. And then he's doing backflips when he finds out he's not the father. And then these women cry as if they don't know. Like real fucking talk. That dude's getting a free DNA test. And then she'll come in. And so my thing is, you have never heard a black woman bring that up. I have never heard a black woman ever bring up the Maury show as bashing black women. Ever. Not one time in my life.
a lot of people are bringing this out, which is very important, but like they're bringing out the Disney Channel and what that has done, the white picket fence, so on and so forth, and that delusion, which is a lot of the source of the red pill rage for men, in terms of, oh, it was supposed to be like this. I was supposed to be myself, and I was supposed to get this. But then there's also, what was the other thing, man? It was like the Disney Channel, and then there were some other things that were just out there that would solidify or act as a foundation for quote unquote black female fuckery, black pedestalizing women and things like that, and enforcing that delusion. I got to remember it.
Yeah, I'm looking up how much Maury Povich. I'm getting all these texts, people talking about Happy New Year. I'm like, niggas are happy 2021. I'm like, I'm not trying to be an asshole.
Yeah,
I'm really not. You niggas act like 2021 ain't got something for your ass. Like,
they act like the virus had a 1-year contract.
Yeah, y'all. Yeah. Oh God, that'd be a meme. They'd be like, yeah, the coronavirus has signed a 5-year deal.
Yeah,
for XX trillion.
What in the what do they call it? What was Dave Chappelle? What was his skit? The shit, man. The nigga or the race draft or something like that.
Yeah.
I want to say the nigga draft, but
the nigga might as well. So they're saying he has a net worth. I don't know how he has an annual salary of 13 million, but only a net worth of 45 million. With the, I don't know. He must spend a lot of money, but he's 81 years old. Damn, he's 6'1". It's a tall motherfucker. I don't know if he's Jewish. He might be, but he's 81 years old. So he basically alumni of fucking Larry King.
Yeah, I mean, he's no different than the record execs.
1939, man.
These black men of all their
Jerry Springer is 76.
Yeah.
How old is no, Larry King is like 90 something. Yeah, they all got that damn Jimmy Carter blood. There must be something in the water, before they started putting shit in the food. But yeah, Jerry Springer. But yeah, man, this shit. Hold on. So talk show host 81 years old and journalist Connie Chung have married for 36 years. Okay, so he made Asian chick. And so 36 years, 71, 61, 51. Okay, so he was 43. Okay, that's not bad. They shared 25-year-old son, Matthew J. Povich. So that means he had 71, 61. He was 56. And then she was 50. Ain't no way. She did bitch had this motherfucker when she was 50 years old. Are you? Hey, man. Okay, anyway, long story short, they're saying he's worth 45 million and he makes 13 million a year. So basically he makes 13 million a year basically bashing black women.
Well, yeah, but then the worst part about that is this is the stuff that black men have been talking about, especially in terms of
he is Jewish. Okay.
Yeah, you've had 60 years to say your piece. Now it's our turn, and you can't even take a little bit of correction. You just like the one woman that called into the Kevin Samuels show tonight, and how she said, "Hey, listen, I had the problems with my father, and so on and so forth."
Yeah, but I feel like they hear that shit. Yeah,
and
but I feel
how dare you? Like, how dare you have this? Like, he raised a college-educated woman, and you dare to have a problem with it? Like, oh, I'm sorry, princess, you didn't get all the diamonds in your tiara.
That's basically what that means. Correcting black women, like let's just call it what the fuck it is. Correcting black women is bashing black women. That's how black women see it. Stop fucking saying it's a way to do it. It's not. The fact is, the way to do it is get a white man to do it. That's what y'all really want to say. But yeah, shout out to he said black women going against the interests of white people. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Absolutely. So the reality is Maury Povich makes $13 million a year bashing black women. If we're gonna go on the rules that black women set. So
no, I would change the way you say that, right? Like, or sorry, my spin on it would be he makes that much money facilitating black women bashing black men. Like, that's what the Ricky Lake show did. All those other talk show did. Because I used to remember these coming home from school and watching Ricky Lake and shit. Like, I remember shit.
Well, the thing about it is, like, you can bash black men all you want to, but when you're saying that first when you say a black man, I'm sure that's how it's presented, that's how they do it. But if you say that a black man, we're gonna do a DNA test and you find out he's not the father, that tells me you thought he was the father. Either you knew he wasn't the father, you did it anyway, which makes you a liar, or you don't know who the father of your child, makes you a hoe. So at the end of the day, when people see that, they like you can say that it makes the dude look bad or these women crying, but that just makes them look bad. And
Yeah,
my point is, there's nobody out there doing that consistently more than more. And Maury Povich predates the internet by him doing that. That predates like the internet, like or social media, right?
who's
So
the
this
black
guy,
guy that used to do it?
Jerry Springer did it too. He
No,
just didn't do it all the time.
who's the black guy that did the
Oh, Montel.
Montel did
Well,
it too.
Montel would be like Kerry Pope today, and I hate that because I like Montel, but Montel wouldn't really tell the truth. Remember, Montel fucked Kamala Harris, so
Yeah.
yes, he dated before Willie got a hold of it. Montel's probably how Willie found her, to be honest with
Hey
you.
man, well, hey, listen, that's what happens when you're colorblind.
Well, yeah, well, you know, my thing is, you know, you never hear black women think about that, so you know it's bullshit when they say, because the Maury Povich show exists today. So when they act like they found a manosphere, we're doing this projection of black female fuckery. That's how I know off the gate they're fucking bullshitting. These are things we don't bring up, and I'm gonna bring it up with a female. I'm gonna say, do you know what the Maury show is? Have you ever seen that show? Because I've never done that. Have you ever seen that show? What typically happens on that show? Do you know how long that show's been? And they're gonna start answering the questions like they're fucking stupid. They go from educated to fucking dumb real quick. You notice that? And but seriously, I'm gonna be like, so you know, Maury has been doing that for X amount of times. Like you honestly telling me that what we do over here, which by the way is not that, by the way, is worse than what daytime show is that. Like, do you think we have more influence on the media scape than what that would have? And that show, that same show about black women runs every day. That shit is run in the last 5 or 6 years. That has been the only show that they show.
Yeah, and it's syndicated, I think, too, right?
Exactly. So it's not, oh, well, I'm just picking up one episode. No. That shit is every day, Monday through Friday.
It's syndicated, then it's also online. It's also in people's multiple people's.
Yes, Montel used to go in on black. Montel was one of them niggas that would go in on black men too. Like, and I liked Montel, so I remember looking back. Montel was one of them.
Thought he was gray and not black. That's what it was.
Yeah, he made his money. Yeah, he made his money off of facilitating bashing black men. Like, let's keep it all the way 100. And when we really start to look at the history of it and see a lot of these millennials will try to act like that shit didn't exist because we were all younger. So they want to act like life started with social media. It's bullshit.
Nah.
Yeah. All them shows, some of them shows are, he uses old ones, but he produces new ones. Probably like maybe one of those are like new a week or something now. And
like
he just getting paid off the syndication.
Our Google was with the freaking library, right? And again, that's why you didn't see, you know, to some people's point, you know, the white girls aren't like held to or aren't put out like the same way. But it was different. Like when you watch Girls Gone Wild or Biker Week and all that other stuff, like we didn't have all these things. We didn't have these ways, these modes of communication, these live streams and so on and so forth.
And yeah, so I mean they try like and at the end of the day, at the end, it's all in all these forms of stop talking. Just stop talking. I just don't want to hear it. And the thing about it is I'm cool with that. I'm cool, but at the end, this is where SYSBM comes in. I'm gonna say if you believe in investing in a community where you cannot correct it, but you're supposed to lead it, you a motherfucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like you're an idiot. If you willingly go into that situation, you deserve what you get. You're going into a cuck situation.
Yeah, you want me to pay all the bills, you want me to run, you know, you want me to do all the work and put all this into it and make investments. Then as soon as I say, hey, listen, I really don't like, shut up. You know, like you don't what? Nobody, like men aren't gonna do that. Like not anymore.
Kevin did bring up Patrice O'Neal. So a lot of y'all be trying to act like he be low key, you know, pretending to be a certain type of way to get, like y'all gotta stop that bullshit. And so, but yeah, but that's what it is. I mean, this has been a really great stream. I appreciate y'all super chats for getting this going. You know, this turned out to be a good kind of interview, good kind of mindset. And yeah, man, we didn't get the chance to talk about the future of the Manosphere, because that can always come. We got time for that. But the truth is, the Manosphere, the shit, a lot of the old shit is gonna come back up, and you know, like I said, I'm gonna be focused more on trying to build my stuff and get this where it needs to be, because it's not just about me. It's also about, because the bigger I raise my platform, the faster I can railgun people. They like markets, they want to jump back into it. You, if they want to jump back into it, and that's really what it's about, because it's really about the message. Because remember, a lot of them women, they share subscribers. Don't act like they all got separate subscribers. No, it's a big subscriber pool of, you know, of just like how I'm subscribed to Jada Black, and I'm subscribed to O'Shea, and they do a lot of the same commentary on a lot of the same topics. So that's how it is with a lot of them. Same thing with sports, same thing. Well, NBA fan, I'm about to hop off because I shouldn't have been on here this long.
Yeah, it's my fault.
No, it ain't your fault. No, I do this. I do this if you want to hear. I do shit. I be telling motherfuckers.
Nah, it's like two long-winded dudes.
It's gonna be 10 minutes and it turns into 2 hours. So, nigga, I ain't shit. Like, you know, this room. Yeah, I got this room set up to where it's fine. But anyway, it's a new year. It's 2021. Same old bullshit. But I think, man, a lot of that economic shit that I'm talking about with the Manosphere, I think is going to happen. I got some projects going on with that. It's gonna be some great shit. I think it's gonna be fun, and I actually think that this is gonna be an expansion, because you're seeing a lot of new dudes come in here and kind of fuse different things into the sphere, like Soul Provider speaks with the Nerd Pill, which kind of the geekdom stuff, because you're starting to be able to stream on Twitch, or you've been able to stream on Twitch, as people have told me. But Twitch doesn't have an algorithm like YouTube does, so there's ways to kind of piggy that back and forth.
Twitch is a lot of personal algorithms. Like, you know, once you get the attention of something or someone in, you know, the Twitch staff or something like that, then you can get deplatformed super quick if they don't like your message or if they don't like what you're doing. But the other person that is well known and possibly sending them nudes or their panty shots or some BS.
Oh yeah, don't know. I know who Sniper Wolf is. She's like the queen of that shit. Like 24 million subscribers. Yeah. People go, you know, go figure. And
like people like Dr. Disrespect, who is just absolutely entertaining in terms of just his thumbnails, his delivery, performance, his clips on a regular basis, and even just watching his streams and doing all the other stuff like music and all this other stuff. Like, he's highly entertaining, but gets dropped. Just, come on. And the guy's not, in a sense, a high level gamer in comparison, but Jesus, like,
but black women to destroy themselves to please white men order further along. Absolutely. And that's and see, a lot of y'all got to realize, some people look at First Take and they wonder why is a woman there, and sometimes that's why you have a woman there. Like, let's say, assume Jessica Eggs looks like what her picture says, because a lot of y'all want to question that. If she was there, you had, like, King Rich has built his shit, but if he was there and she was there and they did a co-thing, because there's certain things she could speak to that I mean, you know, like that stuff. That's why it's done that way. And a lot of social media operates on the old rules, because commercials don't really cater to men anymore, like with the women and the commercial stuff. So a lot of that got pushed to social media. So there's ways to put stuff together. Like, you're starting to see dudes do the thing like the Fresh and Fit, Donovan Sharp, where they're starting to do studio shit. One of the next steps will probably be getting a female on there, like Olivia Munn or something like that. I mean, technically they do that. Like, Zoe was doing that, but it was radio, so you didn't really get the same benefit because you didn't have nothing to look at. So anyway, yeah, Classic Man Magazine 2021. Absolutely. I'm definitely going to push that. So anyway, with that being said, I'm about to end this. Shout out to Roger Report. Shout out to the Cash Apps. Let me make sure I got all my Cash Apps. So I want y'all to do Cash Apps. You know, on my iPads, everybody always be trying to promote Apple products. They be flexing low key with their studio shit with like $1,000, like especially like what is it? Taylor Woodley, Avery Woodley, you know, having that damn Max 16-inch shit's like 2,300. Like, motherfuckers be flexing. I know, I see what that shit is. Yeah, I know what that shit is. I'm like, these motherfuckers got money. That house, 2,300, and she living a white person life. Anyway, all right, everybody did what they did. So I appreciate the super chats, appreciate the cash apps. We will have a good year. And with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace. I should do the middle finger and then they flag shit. Anyway, peace out.